All right, everybody. Welcome back to our last day of week 2 qualifiers for the MGNA versus EU Showdown. We have NA playing tonight. And in this one, we're going to see Group A versus Group C. What's up, everybody? I'm Blitz5, and I'm here with my co-host and friend and founder of Main Gaming, Mr. Stento. I'm going to take you guys through the initial stuff here, and then he's going to go through the scoreboard. But I kind of want to talk about any initial teams you want to bring up, Stento, for Group A and Group C. Again, we saw Group B and C play last night. So we have the return of Main Gaming, if I'm correct here. The Prison Inmates, Dubhub, Torch, Ascension Esports, Affinity, Toxic Lady, Lasers, and CK. Am I right with that, Stento?
B and C are playing tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
B and C are playing tonight.
My apologies. So we have B and C. I was going to say, I didn't think we saw Seven Kings yesterday. I keep getting kind of the grouping confused. So my apologies for that, everybody. So this is big because we have the return of the Seven Kings, one of our top teams in the tournament so far, and a lot of other great teams coming in, which we'll get into in just a few moments. These teams, again, are going to be fighting for 2 prize pools, $5,000 total dollars over the next 3 weeks is the regular season, so we just have one more week after this. EU and NA are going to be splitting $1,000 at the end of the regular season. So the top 8 teams from both of these sections will then make it on into the playoffs and then also into the finals, where they will be competing for $4,000. And you can see here, first place is going to take home a whopping $2,000. It's just a huge kind of self-funded tournament here from Main Gaming. So big shout out to all the people and Stento behind the scenes of Main Gaming, raising these funds for all the competitors out there and keeping the PUBG console esports scene alive. And then every single day and night here, we are running this map rotation, 3 on Erangel, 2 on Miramar. It's been a blast so far. Really exciting games. And then we're going to have Stento kind of go into the scoreboard here and check out some of the other awesome statistics that we have for you guys tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Blitz. So quickly, as we do check out the Twire scoreboard here, we're looking at Affinity, Console Killers, and the Seven Kings up top. But a couple things that it's important to remember is that we do have groups here. So some of these teams have played a couple more games than the others, but by the end of tonight, all of these teams will have played 20 matches, and that's going to mark our 2/3 of the way through the regular season mark. A couple things to point out here. Top 9 from this scoreboard will be moving on to the finals. In addition to the top 4 of these qualifiers, I'm going to be taking home a small chunk of change in addition to qualifying. So if we do keep a close eye on the top, we also have a very important top 9 to make sure that we're keeping a very close eye on as well here, Blitz. But heading over to our kill stats just to get a little bit of an idea of who's really showing up individually on the scoreboard. And as you can see, Kidzo's leading the way for Vigorous here with 39 kills. Hobie with 34 for AFI, CK Pixel 33, AFI Light 32, and another member of CK, that's Turbot, with 32 as well. And a quick check of the damage stats. A lot of familiar names here. Hobie standing out a little bit above the rest. Pixel still doing a great job with 6,800. Kidzo's 6,100. Prod just over 6,000. And a drop for the Crazy Mob, rounding out our top 5 in damage with 5,200. And another interesting stat that we wanted to bring over to you guys was a couple teams we started focusing on yesterday. These are both veteran teams, and we've seen them start to gain a little bit of momentum. So I wanted to do a little bit of a team versus team analysis here before we jump into everything. You guys are looking at the Crazy Mob versus Winner's Circle. The edge is going to go to Crazy Mob in kills here, 76 to 67. But the funny thing is that damage is heavily in the Winner's Circle side here, just over 15,000 versus just over 12,000. And then the rest of the scoreboard is deadlocked. Average placement for both these teams 7, and average points is 7 as well. We'll make sure that we bring up this head-to-head team analysis another time or two once we get a match or two to see how it's developing throughout the night as well. And our final statistic we want to bring up before we jump into it is our MVP thus far in the North American section. It's going to be the young kid, Kidzo's, representing Vigorous here with a Twire score of 86. It looks like he's doing a mainly through the attacking side here, Blitz.
Yeah, that's incredible. We're going to check out the plane path and then cover a little bit more there, the initial flight path that we're going to have for game 1 here. Again, the last game for the week 2 qualifiers right now. So this is very exciting to get this started, going right from the military base, straight up vertical plane path, all the way to Stallburg. And something interesting, Sento, I saw with these statistics, just to kind of remind everybody, we showed that head-to-head. So going back to the scoreboard, is that Crazy Mob, this is an EU scoreboard. The Crazy Mob, I mean, Winner Circle and Crazy Mob are 8 and 9 here. So that was a great comparison to pick because they're in the very back of the top 9. I think yesterday we were showing kind of the top 2 teams. Only 4 points separated by them, and we saw they were kind of gridlocked there with the average placement and I think average kills or whatever that other statistic was. So they're really neck and neck there. And something that I also thought was pretty interesting is that Turbot from CK made the top kill list, and he actually sat out one whole round of games. He sat out one of
their match days.
So for him to make into the top 5 is very impressive for sure.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing some of our initial teams drop center really heavy in the center. We're not seeing a military base drop here, which is interesting because we should have the 7 Kings with us, I thought, in this round, and they're normally dropping at the military base. And it looks like they're switching it up, Sento, and going to Pachinki. Also, if you guys are a fan of the PUBG console esports scene, the 7 Kings here, all of their names are backwards, and they've had a few people kind of filling in as their 4th. So I'm not sure who they have now. Looks like this is Quavo is back in. He wasn't playing, I think, last week. We've seen a few people pop in there.
Wow. Look at the kill feed here, Blitz. We got the jump up to Mansion. Opening up our first kill of the night onto P9. It looks like a good amount of players from both team are in this area. We're going to jump on board with our first knock of the day. Linane here, grabbing a little bit of loot while he kind of scours the building. They're trying to get Verbal up, I believe, but it's going to be a little bit of a tall task. You can see on the side of your screen, one member of Phase 9, Wag, has already been knocked and thirsted. And it looks like Phase 9 now using that knock on Verbal as potentially a little bit of bait here. You can see the P9 boys pushing through here with the SMGs. And it's actually Fingers inside that other building with the ace, or maybe that's a shoddy, the auto shotgun, excuse me, that takes down Tokyo. The rest of P9 here have located, Linane, and they're going to take him down as well. So unfortunate for here. They seem to have the upper hand to start, but a great job here by Blurtsy and the rest of P9 to make up for Wag's loss and kind of even the stakes there. I believe they've taken 3 members of down here, and it's going to be up to 4TA to kind of just leave through the north side.
Yeah, he's probably going to head to the road here, J Compound, get a vehicle, and maybe head out of here in case he gets chased down from that squad. Tough first landing there. At Mansion. This is, it seems like if 2 teams go into Mansion, only one team's going to leave because it's so close range there. But anyways, only game 1 for them. Quavo right now is parachuting in still. He must have been late to drop. I actually see that happen to him a lot. I don't know. Sometimes he's just busy or maybe has a slower Xbox. It seems like sometimes he's like stuck kind of far on the plane path here. Circle did pop. I don't know if we officially mentioned it. We are seeing a Milt Circle, and this is a Showdown Classic because for the first couple days here, this circle popped up fairly often. Stento and I were actually getting pretty tired of it, but I'm excited to see it come back because we haven't seen it in a while, and it really is a chaotic circle with so much of the water filled in here, and the Milta field being such a tough ending. We have a free care package coming down here. Someone sent Stendo out to the field to get this. We'll see what it is.
I'm not sure we're going to see anyone grab it. Maybe Crazy Mob, maybe Winner Circle, but
maybe way later on, right? Not anytime soon, but maybe some team will get a random FAMAS here if the circle kind of closes out.
You mentioned it briefly, but this is a circle we saw several times in both the EU and NA region here to start out the tournament. Looks like RR laying down some shots on the rotating Gemini Esports here. Nothing going to connect. For Waxed here, he's gonna consider hopping in the car. He's trying to get his buddy to get in with him, and they're gonna prioritize rotation here.
Yeah, GE and Crazy Mob both potentially looking for this compound here. So I'm gonna take an aerial view. Crazy Mob pulling up from the west side. Again, one of the stronger compounds in this area, but then again, we saw it get taken last week. I forget what team successfully took this, but yeah, obviously it is possible, but usually you can defend this fairly well. GE is going to take the spot to the north. We also have another team, Abnormal, coming in, which last night, if you missed the action, Abnormal was really picking up steam at the end of the night. I don't think they officially came down with a victory, but they had a strong second and third place game. They were very close to winning both of them.
We always see TXC in this area all the time. They usually walk down this house and the identical one slightly down the hill. So Abnormal's going to need to be careful. They want to get this car out of here. Not losing anyone early is important at this stage in the tournament, as every point counts for some of these squads who are battling it out for the top 9 spots here. But nothing is going to connect out of the ace there of Himothy and Abnormal, as you mentioned, really starting to gain some steam. This is a team that I'm not exactly familiar with. Oh my goodness gracious, Boatman is
out of 187. We saw that through
that's their IGL blitz.
We saw that through Himothy's view, not boats, but it was still impressive. Himothy was actually zoomed in on that with the 6x SLR, so we got a pretty good view of it, and they're going to try to get over there and just flush that. It looks like we'll try to tap into boats view. Oh, there's another person in the car stand, so I didn't realize that. Mistake also goes down. It looked like there was only one person when we were spectating over there in the car.
Yeah, I guess Mistake was in the car as well. There, nothing really that 187Zs are going to be able to do. I'm not sure if the car crashed after that bolty knock, but a couple of quick kills coming out for Boatman here. Toxic are going to be happy with this. The rest of the 187Zs are on the top side here, Blitz, and they're already kind of sending Triple OG up the hill. TXC is a team that will consider almost all the time, once they chop a team in half like this, they will love to go pick up the other 2 kills onto the other 2 187Z members.
Yeah, and Toxic OG, I think we have the ability to hop in on their comms again tonight if the opportunity presents itself. Again, not sure 100% who is the IGL, but usually it's Triple OG giving out a lot of the information there. It's really interesting. They're one of those teams that's very kind of calm, cool, and collective, like we saw with Vigorous last night. Great, just in-game comms. And it seems like a very smart player, but that seemed almost like a little bit of a risky push up that hill this early on. That they're fairly spread out right now for this, but maybe they're just trying to catch some teams on rotation. As we take a look kind of back into the map, a lot of people have already centered up. I mean, this zone really tends to center up on itself here. So I think these teams are kind of making the smart move. And obviously nobody's on the military base. That would just be an insane shift south. I don't even know if that could happen, Sento. I mean, I think anything, I suppose, could happen.
Yeah, let's watch the 7 Kings here. They're rotating through on the road there, and they've got RMV kind of rotating right behind them. There is some real estate here. These blues are open, as well as the blues that are kind of across the street near the woods there. It looks like Linkadox and Tacticals are going to do just that. Pull up here, and they're actually going to have a very decent spot here. They've got Warhawk with them as well. Just missing Quavo in this spot. I'm not sure where his rotation is coming from. You mentioned he lags out or something sometimes. I've noticed that as well. But they're in a very good spot right now. Looks like Quavo making his way over as well with his own vehicle. But not much happening right now. We've lost almost 10 players, believe it or not, Blitz. But no teams yet.
Yeah, it's surprising. It's happening really fast. Game when people are getting right into the action. I mean, some of these teams are warmed up from playing last night, which was just an amazing showing. We got some awesome footage, and really just lately it's been really great. And right now we are in the process of getting all of the VODs and some of the top highlights on YouTube. If you guys are in the chat right now, you can do !MGYT, MG YouTube, and the link will be there. If you guys are playing in the event, you might want to see some of the VODs. There are also your clips that are going to be highlighted on that page. We'll be sharing more of those on social media as kind of the weeks go on, and well, the days and weeks go on. And then also for anybody that isn't in the MG Discord, you can type !MG Discord. The link will pop up. That's how kind of we communicate with so many people in the community. Also for future events and even community events that are going on and giveaways, most of that information is usually in the Discord. So always try to recommend that everybody is in there so you guys can stay up to date with the latest MG stuff here. And we'll get back to the action.
Yeah, I think that the main thing is people rotating through that shoreline. We just watched 7 Kings do it. Another team is doing it right now. I just saw on my map. I wasn't sure exactly who it was. SSG rotating right through RMV right now. Blitz, if you do take a peek there, they've actually pulled up on the coastline very close to one another. We should get an angle on that coast. This is going to be a very interesting battle. Looks like RMV have fallen down. I don't know if their car fell down there or what, but SSG 4-man scouring the top here. It looks like Jalapeno has found one. He's going to drop Jumar. He's going to drop the second one as well. I don't know how RMV ended up down there, but they're actually going to be our first team eliminated. And SSG is one of those teams that have to get it going here. They're on the right side of the leaderboard, and they've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and they have, I'm not familiar with HOTS or 30M here, but Soup and Jalapeno are kind of comp veterans, and Jalapeno is one of those players that I've always enjoyed watching, kind of going for the full send plays, but they just haven't been able to get it together, and it could be because of their kind of lack of comp time recently, or also are playing together, you know. And right now in the NA qualifiers, the teams are top notch. So many of these teams have been playing together for so long, like Vigorous, who we're seeing in the kill feed, taking out the Bloodhound gang over there. So it's just, the competition is extremely fierce. Jalapeno picks up that kill though, so he's already got 3. So this is a really nice way to start off this round, and could be a nice comeback for them. I'm going to take a quick look where they're currently situated on the leaderboards.
Heads up play by Jalapeno there to steal that kill from one of the members of Vigorous. BH are trying to work their way out of Lipovka over there, and they're going to need to do it sooner than later, but Vigorous really just in a great spot to kind of gatekeep this, and they've already kind of sent Gravy over to the prison area to scout their next play. So SSG are going to want to get out of this location probably sooner than later. They're starting to get some angles from Seven Kings, kind of pushing the coastline. You can see Warhawk and Linkadox on your screen here. We are watching Jalapeno, but he seems to have an idea that some of the Seven Kings are over there. He's heavy focused on that shoreline. And right now we've seen the Seven Kings do this a lot. They love to play aggressive. They'll have a couple people kind of showing face, showing a front for them as they engage, and then they'll send a couple of flankers, as they already have, to the coast here. So SSG are going to need to be really careful.
Yeah, you're right. They're getting surrounded here. We're going to look at the map. I mean, Tacticals and Quavo aren't really moving. HOTS just hit a nasty heady on to Warhawk using the Balti there. And just to quickly mention this, So Strong is actually in 21st place out of 24 teams, and we saw them eliminate RMV. RMV was actually in 20th place. They were the first team eliminated, so that's going to help SSG starting off today's games. And we're watching this revive come off from Linkadox.
Yeah, they're not really in a position to push it. It's too far of a push. The rest of Seven Kings kind of have an angle on the flats here, and Quavo's actually pushing up the hill, as you can kind of see. So they're going to get this res onto Warhawk here, and things are getting kind of sticky for both of these squads. As you can see, Tacticals from the side. You can't overpeak. There's always a plan B here for the Seven Kings here, and this is not a squad that's going to sit back now. They're going to push up and look for these kills, I think.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good opportunity for them to actually move backwards off that Nox Dento, and they just stayed in this position, which you don't want to be in here. This is kind of the last resort situation to be on these rocks, and that nade just devastating. Re-knocks Jalapeno and 30M there. And,
yeah, you mentioned it, Blitz. I thought that they were going to use the Bolty knock from HOTS over there to at least move if they weren't going to push it. It would have been a good thing to kind of start their rotation here. Warhawk's going to confirm both of his kills there, and the other 2 members of SSG probably kicking themselves here for not rotating a little bit earlier off of that Bolty knock there. Wow,
Yeah.
big shift back towards Shelter, Blitz.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get over there, I kind of want to see if SI is going to flank on Seven Kings. Kitty Meow starting this engagement with a knock onto Quavo, and he's completely by himself here. Laser's here as well. We've seen Laser. This is the same Laser, I think, play for GT and many other teams. They might just take this and run. Could be a good time to get a strong player out, though. Laser immediately goes down from Tacticals.
Kitty is a little bit closer to the rest of the squad trying to confirm this kill. Unfortunately, Warhawk and I think Tacticals, they're combining for the kill onto Laser, trying to get the confirmation onto to Quavo here. But the rest of the squad, Seven Kings always shows up for each other. They're so good at recovering here. Ooh.
Not sure what exactly happened here. We'll take a quick intermission and be right back. All right, so we had a little outage here, but we're back. Let's get into the action here. We left off with Seven Kings fighting with SI, Stento. I mean, I know quickly, I just wanted to say that I feel like SI kind of dropped the ball. They got that knock, and then they stutter stepped there. Laser went backwards. The rest of the team kind of went backwards, and they left Meow right there by themselves, and then now the whole team's back up. So I don't know what you kind of interpreted from that, Stento, but
yeah, when we were fixing our technical difficulties, I was keeping an eye on that, and it was just pure indecisiveness, if you ask me. They got the first knock onto Quavo, and Seven Kings just plays it really calm. There was a smoke onto him very quickly, and here you go. Panda's not really letting them rest here, so I'll leave my story time for another time. Quavo is going to even the stakes there with a knock onto Lob. So now it's just one member for SI up on the hill. Panda, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get this res onto Link. I think they are. There you go.
Revive came off Quavo watching here with the AK strong. And yeah, there's so many reasons that could be, you know, circle shifting, running into Seven Kings is sometimes not the first team you want to run into if you're not warmed up all the way yet. You try not to judge. Here we go, another spray attempt from Quavo. First one landed on Law, but that one not as accurate on Panda, but this is a little bit of a tougher distance here. Really steady shots at the end, and the heady coming with 7.62 is a quick drop there of Panda. SI eliminated. We're down to 13 teams. This circle shifted really heavily to the west here from where it originally was for people that are viewing in. We'll take a second, just look at the map because we did lose kind of our screen for a second here. ABN has Seven Kings to their north side, and they just got Solar out to their east. I'd like to see kind of what they're up to right now and how many kills they have so far. Just 2. Still 36 up.
So we watched a couple teams trying to fight through Seven Kings and getting a knock, and there was just such hesitancy to push them. So whether that's the reputation the Seven Kings have or whatnot, there's just multiple teams that seem hesitant to push even when they get a knock. That kind of is why some of these teams have dropped the ball. You get a knock, you kind of just need to make a decision. Are we going to use this to move? Are we going to take this fight? What's the plan here? And it appeared that SI was kind of confused at what they were going to do based off of their first knock. And they had a lot of room. There was only one other member of Seven Kings close at the moment. But I'd love to, again, get a peek at what ABN is up to here. We're on board with Karm. He's got the barrel in his hand, but there's a couple teams up here. They need to be careful because not only is it Seven Kings he's about to run into, there's a solo for Eno, and I think some of the 187Zs are just around the corner as well.
Yeah, I want to see how aggressive Abnormal gets. Psycho with the first knock onto Linkadox. Karm's got an open shot here.
Yeah, he's waiting for the right time to take down Quavo.
Oh, and it didn't work out. He's got 4 more shots left, but it misses. Now he gets knocked. That was a big attempt there from Carmen. It doesn't go down. Quavo gets killed from somewhere else, so that's from Vigorous.
Yeah, I'd love to get an aerial view of this blitz so we can kind of tell what's going on here. I think ABN, after losing Karm, they're still interested in taking this fight now that Quavo is knocked. Unfortunately, Sunny running through the wood yard didn't know that Tacticals was playing the logs on the edge there, and goes down to the scar of Tac there. And Vigorous continuing to be aggressive here as Tac fights off the rest of ABN here. So Seven Kings, already 7 kills on the board, but they're in a tough spot here as multiple teams closing in.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect time for Vigorous to get really aggressive. Tony's going for that revive. Warhawk's pushing this. I was going to go to Vigorous, but let's see what happens here with Warhawk. Psycho just saw the revive, and then Tony steps out from the tree and takes him out, and that's Seven Kings down as our 11th team, Stento, early on here for our first place team.
Yeah, they picked up some kills, so the entire round is not going to be a wash, but this is where we need to shift our focus here. Vigorous had a very strong day yesterday, and the biggest threat to Seven Kings regular season is definitely going to come from Vig right now, and they've already picked up 6 kills, so they're rolling here, Blitz. They know that Seven Kings just got eliminated around the corner, so they're just going to work on getting in some edge here and regrouping, because they're going to think that this is their game to lose now.
Yeah, and I just want to correct myself for anybody listening. So technically, Seven Kings isn't in first place, but since they've played less games than the two teams in front of them, we assume that if they continue their pace, they will be in first place. Hence why I said that, just for anybody that was looking at the scoreboard scratching their head there. We have to remember that not all teams have played 5 games, that after tonight, they will have. So it's going to be really interesting to look at the scoreboard at the end of today, because everyone will be even, Steven, and it will be much better for comparison.
Yeah, we're seeing several teams start their rotations into this phase 5 zone here. Crazy Mob just snuck into one of those compounds that the Toxic team likes to have in Winner's Circle. Unfortunately, some mutual destruction here as they try to leave Milta. Looks like RR are getting the best of them due to a little bit of a just disjointed exit of Milta from the Winner's Circle, who already have sent Kofri up the hill, and he's knocked. Now RR have turned their attention to Crazy Mob, and unfortunately Crack has been knocked here, so Tragic End is going to need to regroup here. And as you're seeing, Boat for TXC takes down the final member of Winner's Circle. They're going to go out in 10th place.
Wow. Also, Vigorous here, last minute, hiding in that building. RR is getting kind of demolished here, trying to get in zone. You never want to be in the south side. Stento and I have watched so many teams get taken out here trying to make it in. This little bit of a ditch is going to work out temporarily. I also want to see how Abnormal is going to get on here, so we're going to tap into them and also watch RR from the side.
Yeah, this is a great perspective. Tony and Psycho have been doing a good job to remain as a 2-man on this edge. They just need to be careful how far they push in here, because as they bring the building into their line of sight, they're going to be dealing with shots from TXC as they're fighting the low side with RR. So I think that what they're going to choose to do here is try to take this fight with ABN. But I'm not sure they're going to be able to do that without involving TXC. Right now, Tony has stepped over the front and taken down Tragic End. So they're doing a really good job as a 2-man here to survive on the edge. And Tony continuing to frag for this squad. 6 kills for him. Takes down RR out in 7th place. So teams are whittling down quite quickly here, Blitz. And I think Toxic is now on the high side, starting to get a little bit curious here. They've already sent Triple OG and one of their mates onto the edge here. They're dealing with a little bit of third-party shots, so they're starting to reconsider the push down onto ABN here. But Triple OG definitely still a little bit curious. He just needs to be careful from Vigorous on the high side of the mountain, starting to get involved.
Yeah, so interesting that TXC almost just went and took out ABN, but then Vigorous kind of pulled them back. Triple OG knows that they're down here, so he's just so antsy to get a look. Almost kind of risky going for those jump shots, jump looks, because, once you're in the air, you can't really respond too quickly. He sees the head of Tony, doesn't know that Psycho could potentially peek up on that right side and take him out. Triple OG definitely putting his neck on the line here to try to hold this wall from the side. No lethals either. But he does have his teammate here with him just as backup. Nice spray drop down from Triple OG. Tony gets Himothy though, and Psycho trade. Onyx goes down from Tony. Tony's on fire right now. Triple OG needs to make a big play, but he's backing up here.
Tony is on absolute fire, leading the way for this ABN squad. He's taken down 2 of TXC, and he's still full health. So Triple OG is going to need to be careful. Tony means business. Is that a wipe? I never even saw him get the 3rd one.
I didn't see it either. I don't know if that was an official wipe or if that was 3. I think it is. It's 10 kills. That was the whole wipe on Toxic. That's insane. Coming
he
out.
He had no business doing that.
Coming with his back against the blue there into the garage building, which is such a hard building to push on from that scenario.
What is Tony's problem? He had no right to win that 1v4 there after losing his teammate. He's got 10 kills already, Blitz. There's only 5 teams up. He's turned his attention to Vigorous on top of the hill. Now, surely, this is their game to lose. The only other squad that appears to be really healthy is going to be the Crazy Mob, and they're starting to get into a fight with TDT here. So maybe that's where we should turn our attention. Tony's kind of bringing us that way on his own. Maybe he's heard the shots, decided Vigorous isn't the way he can push, so he's going to try to kind of sneak around this edge, maybe try to get some kills. He's getting more, Blitz. This guy is a man on a mission.
Tony is absolutely starving. They kept this man in a cage overnight, Stento. They didn't feed him breakfast. They didn't feed him lunch.
No breakfast
and they're
at
just
all.
letting him out for dinner on the battlegrounds right now with 10 kills to his name and a couple knocks
if he had a frag,
here.
he would clean this up. He's using smokes to kind of get involved. The third parties are going to start to ring out here. It's actually the 187Zs who are laying down that damage. He does have a molly. He's going to need to get a quick heal off Blitz. I'm so glad we stayed into this perspective here because the molly takes down Blitz. I don't know if that was a thirst or a knock, but oh my god, another knock from the molly. Droppa is down. It's going to be only one member left. Can Problems do anything about this man, Tony, who is on an absolute feeding frenzy here?
Tony finally goes down.
Noxie's picking up both of those kills onto the final Crazy Mob member and Tony, who needed to be stopped. Something had to be done versus this man, and it had to be the long-range third party from Noxie. And now we've got a 4-man for TDT. They've gotten all those reses off, and Vigorous starting to command a very big spread here. They're trying to deal with the threat of the solo of the 187Zs in the shack as soon as they can here. They're just going to need to be careful that they don't take a knock in this process, Blitz.
Yeah, this nade looked pretty good. Took Savage down to half health. We immediately skipped right into the top 3 here after that previous knock on Tony and some of the other teams that were stuck there with the Crazy Mob. So we have a 4v4v1. TDT, Stento, yesterday, they were making it into the top 5, and they were our last place team. I don't know if they've been able to step it up since then, but just sheer placement points have to be helping them out a little bit now. 2 members go down. They're a little disjointed with the trees, not giving them too much cover.
Yeah, and Vigorous are, despite the solo in the Harry Potter tower, they're staying locked on the threat. The real threat is going to be that 4-man that are trying to come off the southern edge of zone here, but Noxie and the boys just laying down too much DMR fire here. Unfortunately, take a look at this. Noxie has just 3 bullets left. So unfortunately, he's going to have to switch to that barrel and perhaps lay down a little bit of AR spray as he's going to run out here. Noxie times the 3 bullets right to take down the revive there, and Kidzo's on the flank, wipes that squad. Now it's just 1 member. They know exactly where he is, Blitz. This is an amazing start for Vigorous. 15 kills. It's going to be 16 by the end. Noxie makes it look super easy with the barrel, direct headshots onto the 187Zs, who are going to be happy with the second placement there, but all eyes on Vigorous with the 16 kill chicken dinner. Woo!
Absolutely crazy there. 187Z sneaking in the Wizard Tower there. We saw them lose 2 members on that rotation, so coming in second is amazing for them, but 0 kills, unfortunately. And then TDT in this similar situation, 0 kills, but snuck into third place. Then we have to shout out Abnormal because they end up with 13 kills, and Tony had 12 on his own. And we're going to throw it back to me and Mr. Stento here. What's up, everybody? This, again, is the last set of games for Week 2 NA qualifiers. We're in the process of getting everything on YouTube, so if you guys missed any of the action, you can go over to the official Main Gaming YouTube channel, !MG YouTube, to see all that stuff, and we're going to be putting up some awesome clips from moments like we see here. We might need to get Tony in a clip there, but Stento and I actually didn't even realize that the squad wipe happened. I mean, we're pretty sure that's what happened, but I didn't see that third kill happen either, so I kind of got lost on that.
Yeah, I got a little bit lost on it too because he knocked 2 after losing a teammate, and we were watching one toxic member like almost challenge him, but it never happened. And apparently in that time he had challenged the other one. I never saw the third kill. We just saw him challenge like triple OG on the edge there. So insane plays from Tony, but Vigorous were really in full control once they took out the 7 Kings there. So that's going to do wonders for them on the leaderboard. Vigorous went out early with a couple of kills, but excuse me, 7 Kings went out early with a couple of kills, but Vigorous definitely going to gain some ground there. We'll figure out exactly how much ground once the scoreboard does update for us, ladies and gentlemen. But right now we're going to take a short break, and we'll get our second match of the evening set up for you guys. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
All right, go. All right, welcome back, everybody. Game 2 here. Let me switch the top of the Week 2 NA qualifiers for the NA versus EU showdown. Just had an epic first start to the day. Crazy ending there. So hopefully, the second game can compete with that. This plane path going kind of similar, Stento, just a little bit to the west. Another vertical plane path going from the military base all the way to Stallberg. In case you guys are just tuning in, thank you guys for checking out this tournament. It's going to be running for the entire month of June right now. Again, like I just mentioned, we're on our second week of qualifiers. There's 3 total weeks. So next week will be the final week for that. And then we're going to move into our playoffs and finals. So for the regular season, NA and Europe are going to be splitting $1,000. That's for just the qualifying teams to give a little bit of initial funds there for those players and teams in the regular season. And then in the finals, this is where the majority of the money prize is going to be held. $4,000 total dollars to be given away during the finals. And if you're wondering what's going on here, here is the daily map rotation: 3 on Erangel, 2 on Miramar. And here are the groups playing tonight. Kind of have almost like a round robin thing going, where group A versus B, then A versus C. And then tonight on Wednesday is B versus C. So a lot of great teams here, some heavy hitters to look out for. The 7 Kings, we got Crazy Mob, Winner Circle, Vigorous. A lot of great teams in the mix. We'll be going through the leaderboards to kind of keep you guys updated. It takes a little bit until that game is going to be put into the leaderboards. So we'll cover some of the action here. And again, I'm Blitz5 here with my brother and founder of Main Gaming, Stento. What's going on, man?
Oh, man, what a great way to start the day there. Some insane solo plays, a nice chicken dinner for Vigorous, which is going to really spice things up at the top of the leaderboard here. But Blitz, I want to turn your attention over to Yasnaya. I saw a couple teams land over there. I'm not sure how close. 3 teams land over there. So let's get into one of their perspectives.
You were seeing ABN, seems to be, BH, and Eno.
IREC, seems to be in the center of it all a little bit. But Eno's taking the northeast, ABN's taking the northwest, and BH kind of hanging out in the south side here. So if any action breaks out, it's likely going to be here. But our first circle has popped. Blitz, a very popular one we see as well, kind of centering on ruins and this George Pool River that kind of stripes through the center of the map. We have no idea where this zone is going to shift, and that's always super fun for us to kind of watch these teams figure out how to play this zone. I'd like to point out a couple of the very hot compounds. Maybe these triple buildings in the center there are probably one of the most hotly contested spots. We'll see a team move in there in a couple different spots in that area very shortly, I expect. But not too bad of a circle for some of these teams. It's just that river again plays such a big factor here.
Yeah, I want to mention something here. That Abnormal left Yasnaya. They're climbing up the leaderboard, so I don't think they're going to want to run into another team early on in Yasnaya and lose out on their momentum. So they're pulling up at this compound.
Kidzo, though.
And Kidzo's here. It's just why I brought us Kidzo.
Yes, this is our kill leader in the tournament, and now we're gonna get to see how he deals with a full team pulling up on him. It looks like he wants nothing to do with it, Blitz. I don't blame him. Again, you're having an MVP type of a league right now. Kidzo does not need to risk a 4v1, although we do know he's capable of it. He's looking around. Does he have a car on this edge here, Blitz? It's going to be very important for him to get out. I'm just not sure if he's going to have the option here. He's playing the wall.
So, yeah, interesting spot to take here.
This is going to be one of those situations, I think, Blitz, where Vigorous is going to show up. Kidzo's going to need to be careful. I don't know where the rest of the team is, but he's going to need them sooner than later, or he's going to need to just make a run for it or something. It doesn't look like he's interested in just turning his back and running, which I love. Okay, the shots have been started. They found him. They knew he was here, whether it was the open doors or whatnot. Now Kidzo's going to need the team a little bit quicker than we originally imagined. ABN's going to need to be careful here. This is no slouch, as we mentioned. This is the current MVP and kill leader of our tournament, but ABN has been playing amazing, and they're taking this very aggressive.
Yeah, this is not good for Kidzo here. He just gets overwhelmed. And I think in that situation, you almost want to be upstairs there with so many people coming for you. Maybe even take that 3 stack. I mean, I know the grenades would have maybe came in, but just to delay it a little further. But in that situation, tough spot. Kidzo out. And like Sento mentioned, he was currently the MVP of the tournament. But again, we still have some teams that are catching up on their total. Or actually, no one's actually played more than Kidzo because they just are playing in tonight as well. Something else I just wanted to point out is that we've seen some kind of switch ups with the drop. 7 Kings originally were at Pachinki. RMV went to the military base, which is surprising to see that kind of switch up for, this part. We're like halfway through the tournament right now, suddenly to see that from RMV, because RMV might not be aware that 7 Kings aren't there. So they might be expecting, what I'm trying to say is they might be expecting 7 Kings to actually be there. So it's a risky play from RMV.
Yeah, I was going to say that lots of teams are rotating. I wanted to hop on board with one of these teams, RMV, getting close to TXC. 187Z striping through the map. So early game here, lots of teams moving. And there you go. There's a knock on the rotation. Boat pulled up a little bit earlier than the rest of his team here. So 7 Kings are going to eliminate one of the members of TXC nice and early here. I think we see them pull up here kind of often. They're such a veteran team that you'll see Quavo and the rest of these guys just pull up in a spot where they're going to expect teams to rotate through to pick up kills. And just like that, they do pick up one on Boatman. Unfortunate for TXC.
Yeah, TXC started off okay, but that wipe came in kind of, I think, unexpectedly for them. So they're definitely looking to bounce back now. Really excited to see the scoreboard update after the last match.
It just updated. Can we please take a look? I have to talk to people about this.
Let's flip over.
This is such an interesting update, Blitz.
To the scoreboard. Again, many of these teams have already played 20 games, and these teams are catching up to the 20 game mark right now. Let's see what we're looking at.
I think the big updates here is Vigorous, with that first game win there, have jumped both console killers and the 7 Kings. So right now, Affinity is not playing tonight. They're sitting with 215 points. That's where they're going to end week 2. Vigorous, console killers, 7 Kings are 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th. Abnormal as well, also in the mark. But all eyes got to be on 7 Kings, console killers, and Vigorous right now. The top 4 placements out of this section are going to take home some money in addition to qualifying with the rest of the top 9 here. So those 4 top placements are going to be hotly contested, and as you can see, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd all within 1 point of each other. So we'll keep a close eye on Vigorous, console killers, and 7 Kings throughout the course of the night here.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody again that the console killers are not playing again as well. So AFI is out, CK is out, and then where is Abnormal Gaming? They moved up to 5th, so they were out of the top 10, then moved into 8 and 9 and were kind of stagnant there, and now have jumped into 5th place after some of the games last night and that last performance from Tony. So now we're on board with TDT. We'll keep trying to update you guys because I feel like it's more exciting when you're looking at how close some of these teams are, and every day we're just getting closer and closer to the end of qualifying. Again, after today will be like 2/3 there. So before you know it, we'll be into the finals. And then, each game, as we get closer to the finals, each game is just going to matter more and more, which makes it even more exciting. Stenta, one thing I don't think I noticed too much last game was no pickups that I recall. We've seen a lot of them lately. Last night, there were so many from NA. I feel like we've seen NA kind of utilize them a bit more than EU. None in game 1. 7 Kings right now overlooking the Crazy Mob. Crazy Mob's in 8th place.
Crazy Mob got to be careful here. This is such a tough compound to hold, especially if someone is going to take the low side here. Interesting scope. 4x.
I was just about to say
the
the
old
same
762
thing.
AR.
How dare you, Quavo?
On the bolt. That is just absolutely foul. I don't know if we're trying to make a point or show off or something, but that is just icky looking thing on there. But they're just playing it kind of safe here. They've got tacticals, and I think Warhawk back at the Linkadox and tacticals are back at the houses there, and the other 2 members are kind of just poking around on the hill here, seeing if they can get a knock on a Crazy Mob. But they're going to regroup here. They don't really want to take an early fight here, trying to push up the hill into that compound. But you mentioned it, Blitz. Where have the emergency air pickups, Ben, and Winner Circle strolling into town with one as we speak. It looked like they were a little bit short trying to land on this compound here, and the Bloodhounds taking this very aggressive. It looks like IREC and the BH gang really did want this compound here, so they're kind of pushing onto it from that ridge to the north side, and they're pulling up in vehicles and the whole nine here. So we're gonna see a fight here, I think.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to surround Winner Circle and go for this.
I love that 2 members of BH just pulled directly into the garage building, kind of taking a little bit of real estate away from Winner Circle here. I think we're going to see the nades start to ring out here from Kofry. Also checking the backside, making sure no one is flanking. But Winner Circle do need to be careful here because BH has taken a little bit of the real estate, and they also have 2 members outside the compound. It looks like Bougie, I'm watching there, and Shakes with a nice nade through the tiny little square window. They were watching the stairs. He had a little bit of an idea of that, puts the nade right through that window and takes 1 member down. It's going to be really tough for them to stop this push now.
Kofry's in with him. They're stacking the building. He goes the wrong direction, but his teammate's here to help out. But Shadow gets both of them. But then Jolly comes in. Luckily, Jolly was there. But on the flip side, Bougie is down, and now they're going to really open themselves up for a potential nade to wipe this squad. Kofry goes down from that nade. More throwables coming in. We have a 2v2 here. IREC thinking about going in. Got the M4 out, fully loaded, extended mag, 42 rounds.
He's not exactly sure where the final member is. Does go out onto the balcony. Figures out where he is. A little bit of body shots. I'm not sure BH has earned the right to be doing that with where they are on the scoreboard right now. Winner Circle a little bit higher up, but they do get the better of that fight. But they do lose 2 members as well, Blitz.
Yeah, Winner Circle. I don't know if they exactly where they've been throughout the tournament. I know they haven't been in the top 3 recently, but they're down in 9th place now. So them getting out in 16th place is not going to be great. But again, it's only game 2, and they were playing pretty well yesterday, so let's see if they can come back with that. Winner Circle, definitely a big fan of the emergency pickups, that's for sure. We're going to tap in quickly. Crazy Mob was close to 7 Kings. Now they found themselves kind of battling out with RR. We get over here late, but we see multiple members of RR down. Crazy Mob with 2 total kills. Silvers is in there, potentially what looks like by himself. 7 Kings are actually behind there.
7 Kings pulled up onto this. They heard all the fighting going on, and they're not a team to type just kind of sit in center and not get active here. So they've pulled up onto both ridges surrounding both the east and south side of this fight that was going on between Crazy Mob and RR. And I think Crazy Mob have kind of detected that and decide that they don't really want much more to do with this, trying to find the final kills onto the remaining 2 RR members is just not going to be easy with the overwatch from 7 Kings right now.
Yeah, look at the spread from 187. Talk about sometimes potentially failed parachute here. We have 187 all throughout the center of the map. Sometimes there's a vehicle that spawns here. It might have already been taken. So I think that's probably what they were looking for, and they're not going to get anything. And now they're in between a few teams. So we'll kind of pay attention here. SI might go up to peek at them, but otherwise kind of going to focus in on what might be happening with the Crazy Mob. They keep looking for a home, and they might be finding one where SSG is located. Problems is already here, so it looks like they're committing to the Stento.
Yeah, nice. I love the early game fights here. We're only 13 minutes in, and we're just seeing the kill feed light up. Oftentimes we get past 20 minutes and we still have over 50, even 60 members. So this has been a match that's unfolding kind of quickly here. We're seeing trades come out on both sides here. They're not going to be able to get that out. So Crazy Mob down to 2 members here. They have a knock or 2 on this compound here. Slumpto, I think, bolting his 2nd member here, trying to help Problems, who's kind of playing the close range threat. But SSG also have a little bit of a spread on their own. They have a member up on the hill, and unfortunately Slumpto falls victim to those members that are outside of the compound, and now it's going to be all up to Problems here. And there's a very interesting dynamic to this fight. 2 in the compound, 2 out. Both are considering reses right now, but their main focus is on the final member of the Crazy Mob here. Problems not really sure how to push onto this house right now. He was trying some util, but he's taking some damage, so he's kind of backed off to heal and regroup.
Yeah, I feel like 30 here should just wait for the team to show up after this revive happens. Toxic is kind of rotating nearby. Jalapeno pushes up with the Vector and takes out the last member of the Crazy Mob, who, again, some big teams here, Stento, going out early in both of our games so far today. And a lot of these teams, Crazy Mob's in 7th place. I mean, this, again, they still have next week, but this could be a pretty big deal for them going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We started to talk about Crazy Mob and Winner Circle both a lot yesterday. They got some good consistency in those matches yesterday and bumped them both into the top 9. So right now those two teams are holding qualification spots, but they really haven't gotten it going here today. And just as we speak about that, SSG has met TXC up on this hill. They've already lost Boat, but they open things up with a knock onto Soup. So the 3-man of TXC likely going to take this aggressive, perhaps a little bit too aggressive. Triple OG was trying to get an angle against Blue, and he's going to pay for it. Hots, who I don't think we've seen in this event before today, has been showing up for SSG so far today.
Yeah, and, you know, I think Triple OG went a little too far there. Onyx with a nice nade on the Hots and Soup from the side, but I think they need to call Triple OG back, because sometimes you get lost in the sauce trying to get that angle, right, Stento, but then you don't realize that Blue is actually going to be coming in, so you should just stay and kind of gatekeep. So they lost that angle, but Onyx right now, kind of a one-man squad for TXC. He's got the car, but the Blues here, a lot of times in the competitive play, you see these teams opt not to get a car because they really don't want to make that noise, and driving in FPP is not as helpful as driving in TPP, of course, but little do they know that 187 is just right here behind them. Shots coming in. Timothy trying to defend, but 187's here. They see Onyx. He's most likely going to go down to the Blue here. He does.
Yeah,
and
we haven't talked about the 187s much today. They're holding this plane crash here, and they're getting dropped on right now by Falazide and the rest of the Dream Team here. So we'll keep a close eye on it. I want to point out that we just saw ABN get taken out in your kill feed there by, I believe, P9. So ABN is one of our top 5 teams, really starting to get the ball rolling for them as well. We saw them led by Tony last game with a big 12 kills. So unfortunate for ABN. They'll have to regroup for Miramar next round. 17 minutes have almost passed here, Blitz. We're down to just 30 teams and 30 teams, 11 teams and 30 players alive.
Yeah, Stento. So I was checking something on the production side here. Who took out Abnormal, because they are on a big run right now? Was it Eno?
Yeah, phase 9. It was phase 9 on the top side of zone. You can barely see WAG on the E of shooting range there, but I think that was the fight that broke down in phase 9. Are gonna come out of it pretty scathed, honestly.
We're seeing the remnants of what was kind of a fight here between BH and SI. One member of BH left. The big thing we got to talk about right now is Vigorous holding the top middle spot here, and a 4-man of the 7 Kings ominously holding the west side as 187 loom in. If we have the opportunity to, definitely want to try to hop into Vigorous comms at some point, you know, if they're just surrounded by teams and getting into the action. Right now it looks a little quiet for them, so we'll kind of let them you know, have their pizza and relax while they wait on. Obviously one of the most calm, cool, collected teams of the tournament. Watching 7 Kings here shooting fish in a barrel, stuck on the side of the hill. 187.
Yeah, unfortunate for 187s. They're not only dealing with the shots from the 7 Kings, but I think some SSG members on the other side have an angle, and Linkadox and Tech combining for some quick shots onto Legend. And it looks like only one member for 187Z is perhaps able to get away. They might meet another solo on that edge of zone, but 7 Kings in full control of the west side of zone right now. They've already got 5 kills right now, and they're looking for some more long-range shots. Impressive from, again, Tack and Link combining for some damage there onto the final member. Savage is going to go out in 11th place.
I saw when I was checking through the scoreboard that Jalapeno was able to make it in deep within the blue there. It's only phase 4 now, so I guess that makes sense, but it just looked like they were kind of screwed over there. So he's still solo up for SSG. RMV kind of sneakily has a full squad. They're trying to pull up below the 7 Kings. Warhawk laying it down with the M249. Sento, it's kind of becoming apparent that having a team member with an M249 now is almost kind of part of the potential strategy for your team to be really successful, to lay down that kind of fire. And now the third party coming in from Vigorous.
Yeah, well timed from Vigorous. I think they're kind of seeing Seven Kings start to get some knocks and stuff, and maybe getting a little bit impatient in that sense, wanting to get involved themselves rather than let all the kills go to another team on the top of the leaderboard there. But finally down to our final 8 teams here, and as you mentioned, the M249 definitely is a gun we're seeing featured here by several different players in this event. And I don't know whether it's the mag size or the ability to just kind of lay it down, but this gun does limit you with certain peaks. You know, if you are fully standing, the recoil is quite brutal on this. If you're prone, it's virtually non-existent. So you really have to pick and choose your battles and know how to use this gun. And Warhawk's already got 3 kills, so clearly putting it to good use.
Yeah, absolutely. And just hearing that gun is kind of one of those intimidating sounds that it makes you kind of question crossing a certain path. You know, it's kind of like a smoke denier. You're like, oh, this is easy. Let me just throw some smokes. We'll run through it. But then you hear that gun shooting, you kind of second guess if you're going to rotate there. I think now, Stento, if you're cool, I think it's an interesting time to listen on Vigorous how they're going to handle the rotation of Seven Kings. If you want to hop on board.
Yeah, let's check it out.
All right, I'm going to hop in on their audio now.
Our left, 235. This is smoke. Yeah, this is K7. Yeah.
Just watch out for SI, and we might have to default and back up. Cause you guys might get pushed by 2 teams. SI is looking for a knock.
Huh?
We'll just hold it as long as we can.
July 2nd.
SSG and TDT are probably gonna fight soon. There they are. And then K7's gonna third party that soon.
Yes.
Yeah, eyes on
could be wrapping or
K7.
low.
That's what I'm wondering too. Is he wrapping low?
I think we just back up now. I think we just back up, bro. As a 3-man, we kind of just gotta play this safer.
They're going up to
This
the
guy's
compound
130.
floor 90.
130 is kind of moving up here.
I ran back, Raby. I ran
Okay,
back.
I'm coming back then.
I ran back.
Maybe
Raby.
these teams will collide on our hill, yeah.
SI seems to be pushing the double oranges. I think they want to do this. That's what I'm thinking they're doing.
Yeah. What? 290 in the open right now.
Nice.
Okay,
Dead. The wipe on TD.
13 alive.
TT.
The only problem about center zones, we can't get too many kills.
Yeah, K7's 4.
At least we got positioning and hard cover.
65. The tree out there.
65. Okay.
He's running right.
I'm still like a little bit edgy on SI, like where they go.
The shots. Well, if they
I
come to our
still
hill,
don't know
they're
who
gonna fight
yellow
K7,
is. I
'cause
feel like
think
it was
K7's playing our
P9.
hill
I'm
now.
not sure if they finished
I
it.
think that what we kind of want is SI and K7 to collide on the hill, me and Prouder.
Yeah. Shots from where?
It should be GE, isn't it, over there? Or did GE die?
No clue.
No shot.
That's behind. That's K7.
Look, once the zone closes, we can do this, and then
That's fine.
play like that, like my yellow line. And then third party, we can sandwich whoever's over there, and then
Yeah.
continue our kill
Yo,
spree.
50. I'm ping.
Copy.
I'm blue. He's on a tree right there. Does anybody have eyes on K7? No, they're on our ridge. I just saw one.
All right, so interesting comms. Again, very calm and collective. Vigorous knows a lot about the teams that are surrounding by. They're questioning a few locations of some of the members, but for the most part, they're fairly spot on where everybody is, and they have a strategy depending on kind of how this circle is going to shift. And the reason why I wanted to tune into them early instead of in pure action is because we all know this circle. if you've played PUBG on Erangel for any amount of time, you've probably gotten this circle. Maybe most likely you've been the team in this compound. You know where Seven Kings are. This is such a common area to play. One team holds this ridge. It's kind of a counter to this compound. Normally there's a team right where Eno is as well. And so to me, it's just kind of the perfect opportunity to see how a comp team will handle this kind of situation, which can be tough to control on the battlegrounds. And with that P9 solo member being eliminated, we are in our top 4.
Yeah, you did a good job of kind of describing it. Right now, the name of the game for Seven Kings is to not take on 2 battles at once. I think they're going to have to engage or continue to kind of push SI back, as you can see on your mini map on the bottom right of the screen, ladies and gentlemen. SI, the team in red on the bottom right there, slowly starting to lay down some shots and try to gain a little bit of territory from Seven Kings here. I believe that's Warhawk that we're on board with is doing all he can with the M249. Actually, excuse me, did he switch guns? It doesn't really matter. They're doing all they can to hold off this SI squad, and they need to be careful here, because if they take a knock or this battle gets too serious, that is going to open the door for Vigorous to kind of run out of the compound over the top right now. Vigorous is, however, still busy dealing with a 2-man of Eno on the other side, and Linkedoc's going to need to be very careful here. They don't want to take a knock. Any knock, again, could really be an opportunity for Vigorous to leave this compound and push onto them. So again, I mentioned it in the beginning of this rant. Seven Kings need to be really careful to not get involved in too many fights here and potentially take a knock to SI.
Yeah, that's exactly what Vigorous was saying, that they expect SI to push on Seven Kings, and that could be their opportunity to push. So Stento, you're spot on with that analysis. One of the SI members, Miss Kitty Meow Meow, as I like to call her, is kind of getting over there to the north side of the zone. Nox, he gets the last kill on Eno, top 3. We have a 3v4 v3. Vigorous has 3 members. They lost Kidzo early on. If you missed that, Kidzo was by himself and got crashed on by a full team. So Vigorous knows that Seven Kings have 4 up. Prodigy now, it looks like Tacticals actually, who are on board with, stole that heady knock. And then the flush from Kitty Meow. Kitty Meow might be kind of hurting their own chances by taking out Vigorous here, because both these teams are fighting and Seven Kings are just going to come here and most likely clean up.
Yeah, as you can see from Tactical's view, they can just see all of this going on, in the rest of the Seven Kings starting to close in on this, as you can see, using the compound to kind of push through and backflank Vigorous, who are now going to just be dealing with an absolute red zone of all sorts of util in that smoke right now. They're still fighting SI over there. There's 2 SI members, so Tacticals and the rest of the Seven Kings are kind of involved with this other fight here. And there you go. Laser took down a couple of members of Vig, so we're down to our final 2 teams. It's just Laser up. That all happened so quickly here, but we could kind of see it coming. It's a clean victory for the Seven Kings with 10 kills and the chicken dinner, Blitz.
Yeah, I want to see how this unfolds between the other 2 teams, because it was a fairly quiet game there at the end. 10 kills again for the Seven Kings. We have the SI coming in second place with 11 total kills, which is great for them, actually, picking up some extra kills at the end. And then Vigorous,
big game.
Yeah, in third place with 6 kills, and the rounding out the top 5 would be Eno and P9. And such an interesting compound. Like I said, I feel like so many people can relate from just casual players, if you played ranked, being at that compound. And I think a lot of us have been in that situation before where, you know, and in most compounds, if you're in the compound, it's great until the very end when the circle leaves compound. And then sometimes if, you know, there's a great team like Seven Kings outside, it's almost impossible to leave. So the question becomes, like, do you have to leave before that, right? To stop that from happening? Is it just luck that SI kind of pushed Vigorous instead of Seven Kings? There's so many factors into it. It's so hard to control the battlegrounds, as always.
Yeah, you honestly did a great job. I for a little bit there thought that SI was going to push on to Seven Kings, but for whatever reason, some good shots from the Seven Kings probably pushing them back the other way, and they met on the edge with Vigorous. So it was just an easy cleanup for Seven Kings at that point. 10 kills, the chicken dinner, and they're heading over to Miramar. We're all actually heading over to Miramar, the old Dusty Desert, as we like to call it, for 2 more matches. We'll be right back as we're setting up this lobby for match 3 in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the last day of week 2 qualifiers for NA. Right now, we are getting ready to head over to match number 3 on Miramar, the Dusty Desert, as we call it. Because we have some new viewers in, we just kind of want to go through a full intro here of what's going on. Again, you are tuning in to the NA versus EU qualifiers. Right now, NA and EU are playing separately as they whittle down from 24 teams in NA down to 8. Tonight, we're seeing Group B play against Group C. So after 3 weeks of qualifying, we'll go into the playoffs and then into the finals. We have some prize pools here for the regular season. And then also for the finals, amazing $5,000 total on the line. Then we also have the current scoreboard for the event. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in chat or in the Discord about the scheduling with this or anything really, if you guys can help. But even some feedback, we keep trying to improve every single broadcast and production. So we're working towards it. And we appreciate you guys being here and hanging with us and enjoying some of the entertainment. So here is the current breakdown. I don't think we're going to have a full update from that last match. And again, some teams here have played 20 matches and some other ones are still working towards the 20 matches with these last 3 remaining. Sento, anything you want to point out here on the leaderboards to people watching right now?
No, just a couple things before we jump into some stats and other team comparisons and stuff. Top 4 from this list will be taking home a chunk of change in addition to qualifying. And as you mentioned, the top 9 are those qualification spots, everyone battling it out to try to get into the top 9 so that they make it into the finals where the scores reset and they'll be battling it out versus the EU side. So quickly, before we jump into our match 3 of the evening, just some cool stats we'd like to show you guys. Our current kill leaders in the tournament, currently led by Kidzos, followed up by Hobie, Pixel, Tony, as we saw with that 12 kill round, unbelievable. And wrapping up the top 5 is Light for AFI. And as well, some damage stats, Hobie, Pixel, Kidzos, Prodigy, and Drop a Crazy, all rounding out the top 5 here. Lots of similar names laying down some pretty serious damage so far in this tournament. And one of my favorite stats that we've just started to add is this team versus team comparison. We really started to bring some attention onto Crazy Mob and Winner's Circle as they started to get the wheels turning, gaining momentum yesterday. But it's always interesting to see how these top teams that are battling it out for the qualification spots match up versus one another. So as you can see, Crazy Mob, doing a little bit more work on the kill side of things, 77 versus 67, but inverse versus on the damage side of things, Winner's Circle leading the way by a little bit more than 3,000. And as you can see on the bottom, both teams averaging 7th placement and 7 points per round. And one final thing we wanted to share with you is our MVP of the current tournament right now, Kidzos, just upping that Twire score. We saw him earlier with an 86. After a few rounds today, upped it to 92. And as you can see, it is heavily on the attacker side. This boy loves to frag out. But as we head into match 3 of the evening, we just are seeing the plane path exit Campo Militar. It started down around the Los Higos area. So we've seen this plane path before. Lots of the map is going to be in play here, Blitzen. I'm taking a quick look towards the center of the map. Eno, Vigorous, and P9 all landing in a very close area. I think they're going to kind of separate themselves, as well as Leones, several teams there, Winner's Circle, TDT, and the Crazy Mob. And the only other spots that I want you to keep your eyes on here, ladies and gentlemen, is El Ahazar and Cruz de Val. Both teams, both cities have 2 teams in them. So nothing is popping off quite yet, but as we jump into match 3 of the evening here, definitely some places we need to keep an eye on. And I might have spoke a little bit too soon here. Cruz de Val is the place we need to be. Loose Rim, we saw him do some pretty impressive plays for Gemini Esports in a couple of their fights. So starting things off with a shoddy knock onto Jumar. I'm going to take a quick look around. We have mentioned this before, Blitz. What is the plan when you drop in your normal drop, whether that's a city and someone drops there with you? Are you going to have a plan? Are we all going to go high side, left side, north side? What is going to be the plan here? And sometimes I think that gets lost amongst some of these teams, whether that's a new team, whether that's a new player filling in or whatnot here. And we're seeing RMV fall victim to that. They dropped into Cruz de Val up here with another team, and rest of the squad, you can see RMV, they went on the high side right here. They took the high ground, the church, whatever you want to call it up here. And the member that they lost landed down low with the rest of the team. So it's so important to make sure that if you are going to drop hot, you have a plan B and you really know what you're going to be handling in RMV, paying for that here.
Yeah, so great questions, Dento. I mean, first, we were having some trouble picking where to go for people just tuning in. If this is your first match you're catching, we really haven't seen too many teams dropping close to each other. Everyone's really been giving themselves a lot of space, I think, because the tournament is a long qualifying 3 weeks, so people kind of wanted to get comfy and get some points. Now we're getting, close to the 2/3 mark, and people are starting to get a little bit more aggressive. And I think that's why we're seeing so many teams drop. So we'll keep paying attention to see if anything happens and Los Leones are here. But I'm with you, Stento. I mean, you and I aren't comp players, but we play ranked. And when I used to play more ranked back in the day, I actually stopped playing a few years ago, but I was a heavy player when ranked first started. And you have your drop spots and your backup spots, right? Your kind of alternate spots depending on the playing path if it doesn't hit where you want to go. So these teams are usually very comfortable with their drop spots. So they should know almost every scenario, right? Like what happens if 3 teams are here? What happens if 1 team? Where do we go if we have to back out of the city? What do we do if we end up hot dropping? I mean, and if you don't, that's where those little details kind of get lost and can kind of hurt you from getting into the top 9 in a tournament like this.
Yeah, and it plays off of another conversation we had yesterday. We see some of these top teams do all of the little things right. And this is just one of those little things. You got to have a plan B for a hot drop. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was yesterday. We saw some really impressive work from some of these teams just doing all of those little things right. I don't know if you remember exactly what it was or who it was, but we were kind of showcasing a team just like, clearing all angles, checking all their sides and doing all that type of stuff. And we really gave some kudos off to some team for that. I don't remember who exactly it was, but this is just an example of if you're not going to cross all your T's and dot your I's, you're going to pay for it by losing a member here and there.
Yeah, for sure. I know we saw AFI kind of do the body blocking and doing some good teamwork. We also saw Vigorous with some really good kind of strategies.
It was, right? It was AFI body blocking, saving a teammate, and whoever was body blocking ate like 2 shots and definitely saved a thirst on one. That was amazing. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's a really smart play from AFI. And yeah, just doing the little things there. And this care package is dropping. Panda just drove right by. I don't know if he's just letting somebody else get it and kind of taking cover, which is actually the smart play to get to the compound first. This is an MG3 with a 15 time scope. I doubt anyone's going to take that, but we'll see. That could be fun for the memes here. Something I never even thought about, Stento. I doubt it, but is the Lynx even available in esports mode? I'm guessing not, but the Lynx is
I've never seen it
only
in a tournament, so I think it's a casual thing, because again, I haven't once seen that in a tournament before, so I'm gonna say no, it's not in any of these, but we haven't. Is this a second care package here?
Yeah, 2 care packages dropped. Trying to see what TXC got here. It's a P90 to Himothy.
So Blitz, I don't know if you agree or disagree. I said it to my chat earlier today. So clearly the care package plane went over and it just dropped 2 packages. When that happens once in the game, it's going to happen for the rest of the game. So we'll keep a close eye on it, especially since we're spectating here. But personally, in my experience of PUBG, every single time you see one of those, it's going to happen throughout the course of the game.
What the vintage? I think you mentioned this to me a long time ago, Sento, and honestly, I've never tracked it.
It's one of those things I've just had a theory about, and I've seen it proven right so many times. But like, I guess this is like a really good time. I don't know if esports affects it, but clearly right there, you just saw 2 different packages. TXC got 1 and SI got 1. So we'll keep a very close eye on the next time care packages come, because I'm almost positive when a double happens, it's consistent throughout every care package drop throughout that game.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look. I'm really interested in that because that wasn't a thing that happened all the time. And then in modern era of PUBG, sometimes you'll see those care packages that drop right next to each other. And it almost seemed like a glitch for a long time. And apparently it's not. But sometimes they're so close together that it does seem a little odd.
We're seeing a knock on your screen, Blitz, but I want to bring your attention over to the southeast side of Bendita. A much bigger fight going on between RR and SI right now. SI doing all they can to try to get into Laser to get that res, and it's only 2 up for RR right now. Silver's in tragic end. So the biggest fight right now about to break out between Panda. I think that was Silver's dropping some good shots onto Panda from the side there, and Lob right now quite literally lobbing some frags at his enemy. Can he make any sort of damage onto Silvers here, who had a good flank there and takes down Lob Riot, and Tragic has pushed into the house with Thirst and Laser right now. So now we've got a little bit of a one-on-one in the compound, and some reses might be happening here soon. Not inside the house, however. SI has to consider potentially going outside to get those reses. However, Silvers is out there, so I'm sure we're having a lot of communication from the knocked teammates as those Thirsts come out. Panda is going to have a little bit better of an idea of where the final two members of RR are located here. Trying to peek over the box here and locate Silvers. This is a really nice peek, but you do have to be careful if you are going to go up onto the roof here. Silvers looks like they're ready. A nice Molotov knock and a connect. Wow, that looked like it was going to hit Panda in the face here. A little bit of a stun. Must have some audio cues on Tragic End's push here. We're using the long building to our advantage here, playing the hallways, and perhaps grabbing a little bit of extra loot off of one of the dead bodies there. But Tragic End was waiting. Panda 1-2 steps. I think I heard Sierra start to play there, Blitz, and unfortunately for Tragic End, the hot footwork out of Panda is going to put him down there. Now it's a one-on-one in this compound. Great plays there by Panda to kind of avoid the hard peek from Tragic.
Yeah, RR seemed like they kind of had this wrapped up. A Panda playing really well. Gotta love the smoke plays there. I mean, smokes have always, stun play. Even though it didn't hit him, it was just such a smart kind of clearing there. Now Panda's up top on this roof. Looks like last member of RR kind of wants the smoke right now to finish this off. Panda got some initial shots. They're down to 80 health, and they got this boost flowing as well. Not going to be surprised if we see Panda hop down and keep the offensive going. But yes, and those stuns are just, can be so powerful. And as PUBG evolves, everybody knows smokes are important, but stuns are so good for clearing buildings that it kind of goes underutilized in casual play sometimes, right?
I agree. I think there's like a certain point where you bring stuns into your gameplay and then it kind of clicks for you. You're like, oh my gosh, like I don't need to, challenge and outgun everyone. If I can throw a stun into a room, if someone's hard pushing me and I can throw a stun around an object, I can virtually make it impossible for them to shoot me, So a well-placed stun is really just a game changer if you know how to use them. You can be winning 1v1s left and right if those are placed correctly. So just as you said, they can be used to get kills. It can be used to clear areas. Panda kind of threw it down the hallway, pushed into the next section of the building. So very effective movement and clearing of the building as a solo there.
Yeah,
I think this is a... sorry, Blitz, I wanted to just bring to your attention, if you do take a quick look at your map, Crazy Mob just pulled into this compound, which is so common here. It's the warehouse with like the walls around. You can play the roof. This is a big compound for someone to try to take right now in Crazy Mob. As we mentioned in the beginning of today, we had a little bit of a team versus team comparison between them and Winner's Circle here, as these two are battling it out for the 8th and 9th spots respectively. So we're going to keep a close eye on them, really geared up in a great position here as they're just trading out shots long range with RMV and a couple other teams. I'd also like to, as we're in this current view, kind of give you guys a good idea of some other teams moving into good position. The Seven Kings just to the west side of Crazy Mob there, they got a split. We oftentimes see this from a squad like Seven Kings. They've got full trust in one another to have several hundred meters in between them and kind of take command of an area right now, and they've got, again, full command of that big dip to the east side of Picado. And this has turned into a big stalemate here. Is Silver going to get this one? Is it going to be Panda with the fancy footwork? It's been incredibly drawn out. These guys got to be exhausted with this fight here, and it's just phase 2, Blitz.
Yeah, I just hopped over because I heard the movement happening as you were talking. But yeah, some big positions coming in. Definitely keeping my eyes on some of our teams here. Vigorous on the edge of zone. Seven Kings with this big split, as you mentioned. Crazy Mom got to be happy. And of course, we miss SI Panda getting in after that long stalemate. Just
let's go.
How the timing goes, but Panda finally comes down, and kind of big redemption there for SI, who we got a leaderboard update. I want to flip over there and check out where SI is as well, but I also just want to show what happened here with the top side. So again, earlier I said they're a first place team before it kind of happened, but Seven Kings now leapfrogging above Affinity and Vigorous. And again, what happened here is Affinity already played their 20 games, and Vigorous and Seven Kings are now catching up. So this is actually their what is this, their 18th game, if I'm not mistaken, and then next will be 19 and then 20. So this totally makes sense, but Vigorous is really on their heels there, which is exciting to see. Abnormal still holding that 5th spot, moving way up the leaderboards, and what we're seeing now is the drop from Crazy Mob, Winner Circle, Torch, Phase 9, all dropping now kind of to the A spot and below. And then here we just saw SI with that play. Where are they located? They're Shooter's Instinct in 14th place. So they're going to continue on. And then, just paying attention to a few teams that are on the cusp here on the backside, on the back 24, the back 9.
Yeah, again, it's a lot of teams that are still in it. If you're on that right side of the leaderboard, you're going to want to try to start to find some consistency and stack the points here. We have about 10 more matches, a little bit more for some of these teams to go in the regular season. So it's time to start to find, again, that consistency. Time to start to put some points on the board. Teams like Main Gaming, Shooter's Instinct, 187Zs, hanging out in the 80 to 70 point range, are very much still in this winner circle, holding that edge qualification spot with 109 points right now. So again, lots to keep an eye on here, Blitz, but let's tune back into our map. We have a circle that has just shifted and some fights are breaking out here. Long range between excuse me, I'm looking at a different fight. Long range between TXC and Abnormal, but we are tuned into a more close range pertinent fight here between SSG and Vigorous. Unfortunate for Vigorous, they're losing Noxy to Jalapeno, and this is a very tough place to fight Blitz with all the different unpushable buildings and the height. And unfortunate for Vigorous, they might be regretting kind of trying to hold some form of a gatekeep onto SSG here. They have picked up a total of 5 kills so far in this round, led by Kidzo, our MVP of the tournament thus far. But they're going to have a difficult rotation out of this area.
Yeah, SSG is 5 kills. They've moved up. They were in not last, but close to last place. They've moved up to 18th place now, Sento, and with these additional 5 kills that will help them on the back end of the leaderboard, which is exciting. Before we move over to a fight, just want to show P9. They just got a care package and level 3 gear, so they're going to be rocking an MK right there, which is very nice for them. And then we're seeing Winner Circle here on kind of a failed rotation, getting caught in that Bermuda Triangle, which is the 7 Kings right now with their crazy split.
Yeah, it looks like, as you mentioned, a failed rotation. I see a car flipped over here by the knock for Winner Circle. Bucci just using that as a little bit of cover right now. Jolly considering trying to get over for the res, but some impressive long-range shots from Tactical is going to take Jolly down. Winner Circle now only have Kofry on the east side of the map. He's going to get into one of those orange cars and creamsicle his way out of town.
Yeah, but look, there's really not too many places to go. Shots are coming in from behind as he kind of eclipses this hill, of course. Hits the pole, classic PUBG kind of logic there. But once he gets over this dip, he should be clear. There's actually nobody at this God building up here. So unless he gets taken out from a wild spray, he should be fine. And this kind of leads us to an awesome aerial view of Bloodhound on the left, Eno in front of us, and then the Crazy Mob right in the center. So we're going to kind of check in with them and also hit the map so you guys can see Vigorous now located underneath Toxic. That was Abnormal was here before. They left and Vigorous filled. Kind of want to see what's going on with them, Sento. We watched them try to push SSG last round, excuse me, and then the blue came in and they got wiped earlier than I think they expected.
This is probably a great time to get into TXC's chat and see exactly, now that the zone has shifted away from them, Blitz, how they're going to deal with this rotation and the squad on the edge.
Yeah, let's hop over to TXC.
We just hide mine some cinder blocks, dude.
Yeah, he always calls me and blame.
I was sitting on some cinder blocks. One's directly underneath you guys at a hay bale.
Bro, where's this kid that's spamming you, bro?
I have no clue.
Well, this PSA was lovely.
Oh, there's a team that pulled up on this dip next to me on my east.
This kid might push left, bro.
There's not one over here on my my yellow, bro. Outside of the house, outside of the 2 side.
The kid in the long is moving right now,
They're
dude.
stopping far
Yeah.
Go
now.
back right. Like, come down to me. I saw my Vic.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just get the car. We gotta go.
Only for the best, my girl.
Say TJ's already got the spot. Might as well just move.
Yeah. That shit gave me in the face, bro. That's crazy.
These guys are on my ping. I've seen at least 3, maybe 4.
Alright.
Yeah, this is right here. Put out here in my head.
You could pull over a ridge north from me, that would be
He's
good.
behind the
I was
Esports
going up
truck.
higher than you.
Yeah. There might be a team up high though, like around Shack on blue.
Like a bag.
That's kind of shitty then.
And then
To wait and kill Vig anyways. These guys on this next ridge over ain't gonna push. K7 could. Yeah, top build 30.
What the fuck?
Top build 30, wrapping the same way you guys did. Already north.
Yeah, it's the kid up here.
On ping.
Yeah, I
blue.
see him. I see him. He just went prone behind that rock.
No, this guy's still in the skinny tree, bro. On blue.
I was looking at the one higher then.
Knocked on the left.
One still
I
top
got
smoke.
knocked too.
Yeah, one's on orange.
Just dropped. Oh my god.
Nice.
Held on.
Kids fighting to our left. These kids are trying to move too, above us. My left, you guys is right.
Two of them. They're playing the dip right there. Here on my
There's another team pushing them in
fine.
the back, so just wait. There's a team pushing them from east.
not bad.
What's your west like?
All right, so honestly, a perfect time to join in there, Sento, if you can hear me. But unfortunately, we had some kind of bad comms from one of the players there, had a TV in the background. So we bared with it there because they were in such a good spot on that push and got Vigorous out, if you guys were able to catch that. But yeah, just the comms were a little off there. So we're going to hop off TXC, but they're in a good spot now. And
The old TV in the background, huh?
It's the person that filled, so it just wasn't ready for that audio hop in there. But yeah, the old TV in the background comms. And they were pretty worried about a team being up here already, but it's just the 2-man of SSG, and they're not that close, and I don't think they're going to push, so they're pretty safe here. Going to try to take a look at the circle, really tried to stay FPP so we could take a look at what was going on there. And again, kind of Triple OG was kind of leading the comms for that situation.
What an interesting end game, though. As you can see, it has pulled into this huge dip. So I'm not sure if people really have an idea of the compound that Seven Kings are in. Blitz, maybe we go over there and get a little bit of an aerial view before these fights break out. But this is a massive, massive bowl they're in. They sent Quavo out potentially to get a package. Sometimes you're limited from what you can do here. You might be able to pick up some long range kills and stuff, but they're so centered up that they're going to keep 3 in there and kind of let Quavo kind of venture around right now. But we are seeing a fight break out on the kill feed here. Boat trading out a knock with Psycho here. So both teams trying to figure out how they can get their teammates up here, but it's Onyx taking some long third-party damage, and then ABN Hoot with a nice nade takes out Onyx. Seven Kings is going to thirst that kill. So down to just 2 players now, Boatman and Himothy just rezzing over here. They do have some heavy artillery in the hands of Himothy. He's got the P90. That gun can be so devastating close range. Looks like he's going with the holographic scope over the 2X on it, Blitz. What do you think about that?
Yeah, close range. I mean, I feel like you got to stick with the red dot, but whatever works for you. SSG's also coming from behind. Soup had a nade out. He might be able to kind of launch this nade over. Now,
wow,
P9, look at this. Look at this situation we have on our hands right now.
Crazy Mob joining in
P9
from the west.
and
P9
Crazy
from the
Mob.
north. Oh my gosh, an SSG from the northwest. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams all pushing into these dips right now that ABN is holding. Crazy Mob beginning to clean it up a little bit with some third-party grenades. They've already picked up 3 kills. They're going to need to be careful because SSG and P9 now clashing heads on the north side. That MK is going to use in the hands of Fingers, trading out for his teammate Blurtsy there. Jalapeno was knocked. They don't know where the final member of SSG is. They're going to have to turn to the south side, Fingers, because they don't know that Superman has already flanked them into those dips. Blitz, there's a little bit of smoke cover, as you can see. Soup is playing a little bit careful, perhaps grabbing a little bit of loot. And the 4-man of the Crazy Mob is just waiting for them in the dips as well. As you can see, the tracers from the third parties of Seven Kings and others just shooting across the map. This is just a crazy hot zone.
Yeah, this is a really tough place to play at Miramar. There's so many dips. Right about to run into Soup here. Blurtsy finally takes him out. So TXC and SSG taken out on this hill. Now Crazy Mob starting the push. Problems all the way to the left. Takes out Blurtsy. Mute is kind of laying down there. They need another team member to come up here and flex and stop this kind of push. Big trade. Slumpto goes down. Fingers with another knock. Double kill for him. Can he get a triple here onto Droppa? And it's P9 Wags and Fingers clutching it up for Crazy Mob. 3 members remain. Blurtsy, I think, got flushed there, and we are now in a top 4 situation, Stento. And honestly,
Fingers started to go off a little bit with the ace nonetheless. He had an MK in his back pocket, but he elected to use the ace and put it to work there, Blitz. Kind of on par with the rest of these games. We're seeing them kind of whittle down quicker than we would have thought. And we're down to our final 4 teams right now.
Yeah, so we were mentioning before where we're seeing Eno right now just get completely obliterated at this dead tree. There's just nowhere for them to play. I mean, there's a few ridges they could have tried to get to. All being in that spot's not really going to help out too alive. But, you know, normally you would say, Stento, the 7 Kings being in the spot sometimes can be kind of like
let's join Linkadox. I love that push from Link. He's pushing up. Got the util in hand. He knows exactly where Tacticals has just got the knock, and the spray is still coming out. However, Link's gonna need to be careful. There's a 2-man right above him. He does have some help from, I think, Warhawk and Quavo on that edge, kind of helping him out with the south side road there. But if BH pushes over the top there, he's gonna be in a world of hurt here. Lots of nades from Linkadox here, but nothing has landed.
I think that one's finally gonna hit.
Now
Another
back
one.
it up with another one, and he actually pays for that. I called it out. If BH pushes over the top, they're gonna pay for that. And Linkadox does go down there. He does pick up Tokyo with the nice nade, so picking up another kill point there. In Quavo, a little bit of a revenge here for his fallen teammate, takes down Muerte with a P90 of his own. I had no idea Quavo had found this, and he's gonna, there you go. That's why you use the 2x. You get a little bit of extra distance, and it's still very nice with the accuracy and the recoil there. Quavo, nice little double kill for 7 Kings, cleaning up the Bloodhounds out in 4th place.
Yeah, nice. Survived that with 1 health. But what I was trying to say is that basically this spot goes from being terrible to really good if the circle finishes here, and they didn't really need to leave. I mean, Quavo going out there just helped out off that flank, but they could probably just huddle here and actually be fine because the circle is just going to continue to center up, and we're going to see what's going to happen here next. Fingers
so take a look
just
at this
moved in.
They sent Fingers in and kept the rest kind of overwatching, and Fingers has one of the fastest TTK guns in the game. He's gonna drop Warhawk with that auto MK with the holographic on it, and he's out of medkits, he's out of first aids, nothing but bandages for him here. So taking a little bit of time to get this these bandages off and regain some health. He is going to be able to confirm that kill there. The smoke dissipates. Warhawk is going to be eliminated, leaving both 7 Kings and Eno down to a 2-man. And our final 3rd team here, P9 with 9 kills, led by Fingers with the MK in his hands here. They're down to a 3-man.
Yeah, so if 7 Kings end up losing this match, I think it's going to be, they kind of got a little antsy and could have stayed and just defended this compound. It's kind of king of the hill right now. It's the only buildings in are just smack dab in the center, and 7 Kings had this whole thing dominated, but now P9 are taking over. 2 members here. They got a nade. They know someone's up there. The first nade's going into the building. Wrong side, though. This is a tough building to try and push, as we all know. We've seen so many teams.
Yeah, very difficult building to push, and I just wanted to point out Mutezo, who's playing the anchor role for P9 on the left side of your screen here, just took down Quavo across the map over the compound. So it's just Tacticals now trying to deal with the 3-man of phase 9. And as you can see on the top side of your screen, team 11, a 2-man in yellow for Eno, hanging out on the edge still. They have to work their way into zone here, but the action is going to be on Tacticals trying to defend this 2-story. And what does P9 have to say about it? They're going to have to look out for those third-party shots. Fingers takes down Verbal there with the ace again.
Yeah, after a miss spray from the NK. You know, not all players have a great time with that spray. You know, anytime someone goes, that spray's easy, I'm like, how dare you? It's one of the hardest in the game to do. The comp players can just make it look easy sometimes, and so is more accurate the ace and takes him out. 1 member left for Eno here. 1 member left for 7 Kings, and P9 coming out of nowhere, surviving that crazy skirmish.
Yeah, you mentioned it. This is one of those teams that really did need to get it going too, Blitz. I'm going to pull up my leaderboard right now and give it a quick refresh just to give you guys an idea of how important all these points are for Phase 9. Phase 9 currently in 11th 11th place with 92 points, and they need to get into the top 9 winner circle with 109. So a big chicken dinner could do enough to jump them into one of the qualifying spots right now, Blitz. So this is a very big ending. They want these 10 points for placement as well.
Yeah, well said. So again, they only need about 17 points to tie with winner circle. And they have 12 kills right now.
Final member of Eno there, right? They took down that final member for Eno. So now they're just trying to figure out what is the best way for us to not throw this match. Tacticals is an absolute truck of a player. And honestly, 3-man stacking his building is something. Oh, they're not going to do. Fingers gets a weird angle with the MK on the roof. Blitz takes him down. Tacticals didn't really see it coming. He was stacking onto the mattresses, perhaps waiting for the push of the building. But P9, we were just talking about it. They need it. 11th place, looking in towards those top 9 qualification spots. And a 13-kill chicken dinner is going to do them wonders. Unfortunate for 7 Kings there. We kind of thought they were in too good of a position. One of those times where you just kind of can't do much from the best position, and they did pick up 8 kills in the second place, so I shouldn't say not do much. And Eno sneaking their way into the top 3 with 1 kill there, Blitz.
Yeah, very nice. We'll bring it back to Stento and I. That's just a tricky area to play because I think 7 Kings wanted to get on the action. They wanted to make sure that they had some counter plays. But I really think once the circle goes into that valley, it doesn't really have anywhere to go but center up on itself. So that's just kind of like some circle knowledge there, but it is kind of rare that it goes down into that kind of crater field there. So it was an interesting one.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't really know how it was going to end. And P9 just did such a good job to survive that big fight that we watched happen on the north side. There was like 5 or 6 teams battling it out there. So they did some really, really good work to just keep 3 up after losing 1 member up there. And then some really veteran plays, leaving Mutezo up on the ridge to kind of anchor as the rest of the team pushed down into that 7 Kings compound. And then it was just up to some individual plays from some of those P9 members to take down a couple of the 7 Kings in that compound. An auto MK obviously doesn't hurt in that situation. And once they kind of got the numbers in that compound, the game kind of played itself out with a couple of solos remaining. But that's just match 3. We're heading directly back to the old dusty desert here, Blitz, for match 4. And we'll get that lobby set up for you guys in just a moment, guys. So just stay tuned and we'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready to drop into game 4 out of 5. Going quick tonight, Stento. A lot of great games. And something that I want to bring up, which is so exciting right now, is that we're just seeing so many different teams kind of step up today. And then some big teams get taken out early for tonight's event. Again, we are doing the NA portion of our NA versus EU showdown right now. We're ending our second week of qualifiers. There's 3 total weeks of this right now. We are watching Group B and Group C frag it out again to end the second week of qualifying. Top teams right now include the 7 Kings, Vigorous, Abnormal, stepping their way up into the leaderboards as well. I forget if I mentioned Vigorous there. Winner Circle, Crazy Mob, getting close kind of out of that list. So a lot to look at. We can take a brief look at the scoreboard. You guys have been looking at it kind of during the intermission here, and we'll have to wait to go through all the stats until the update from that last game. But here is the current list as we approach all these teams hitting 20 total games. So some teams here have played 20 games. The other teams right now are about to play their 19th game. And then when we go back to Erangel, after that match, everything will be tied up. So it'll give us a really good idea of what's going on with these leaderboards. Teams want to be in the top 9 to move on from the qualifying stage. So really, we got Winner Circle on the cusp out of here. Torch, Phase 9, 11, Bloodhounds sticking around in 12th. We really haven't seen them do any big games recently, but they're just hanging around in 12th place there. And then you guys can check out the right side of the screen. But right now, we do have the plane path for game 4. I'm Blitz5, by the way. We're hosting this on my channel, Blitz5 and Friends. Thank you guys for all the support in the stream. And we're here with my buddy, co-caster and founder of Main Gaming, Mr. Stento.
Thank you for that introduction, Blitz. We are dropping in with the plane path onto game 4. It looks like Torre Ahumada down to Valdemar Minas del Sur area here. And a nice spread from a lot of these teams. It looked like Southwest being neglected a little bit here. It would be very interesting if we do circle down there, but this is going to be a very interesting circle, as most of the Miramars are, because of the transitions and rotations that it forces out of these teams. Not only in endgame, but early game, we're seeing just such long distance rotations for a lot of the teams throughout some of these games, as circles have just kind of been throwing down some kind of crazy shifts here. And as we are seeing our first circle pop, not too drastic, not too north, not too south. Main team that's going to be pretty happy with this start here is TXC up in the center here, but checking out a couple different locations really quick to make sure we're not missing any sort of a hot drop. And look at this, El Ahazar. We're going to see SSG and the 187Zs. 187Zs need to get it going here, Blitz. We know that they can win their squad versus squad fights, but we have been lacking seeing them in some of these end games here. So they're going to want to, probably try to back out of this early game fight and give Zone a little bit more of their attention.
Yeah, when we watch them frag out, they're just such a strong team, but we just rarely are seeing them in the end game, and that has kind of resulted in them being currently in 15th place. And would almost like to maybe see them switch up their drop for Miramar, because usually on Erangel, they're playing center, maybe easier for them to rotate out of apartments. But here, Azarhar is cool because you can go west on this highway. If the circle goes that way, you can kind of wrap right and around. But those are really the only 2 options. So it kind of limits you a little bit here on this drop. And there's some open spots. Like I really like where TDT dropped here. From there, you can pretty much rotate around anywhere. You do have Picado to kind of watch out for as well. GE's kind of got a nice split here. TXC with a really powerful spot center. They just have to worry about any kind of teams that might rotate them and kind of stalemate. I even like where Vigorous drops. They're kind of just holding out but then they're also holding out any team that comes west from El Azarhar or Cruz de Val. And that's what's tough about these northern compounds, Sento. There's just like one main artery from all of these compounds. And if you don't take that way down, then you need to rotate all the way around the map, which makes Miramar tough on those sides and around Los Leones.
Yeah, we often see, oftentimes see a lot of these teams losing a player or 2 on these first rotations, but still an entirely full lobby right now through the first couple of minutes. Nothing too hot of a drop in our 4th match of the game of the night here. Mistake looks like he's getting a little curious here for the 187Z splits. would love to stay in their perspective here.
Yeah, I saw the Seven Kings on an early rotation. I just want to take a look at them. We'll keep an eye peeled for if they're going to crash somewhere, and we will watch Mistake here with the ump. Get pretty curious. Also, since I want to mention, one of the users in chat was asking us what happened with the care package logic. I lost track, Stento, following everything.
No,
we'll have to see what happens with this match if we see double care package or whatnot going forward. Definitely something to think about going forward for sure.
That's too funny. Hey, let's get over towards the Bloodhounds. They're pulling up on somebody just south of Pozo. Sorry.
Sorry, this is ABN. Sorry about that.
Yeah, just south of Pozo. Just south of Pozo. I didn't see how it started to happen. Maybe it was just a little bit of a rotation here, but BH, we were talking about them getting into this game. I think they just pulled up Gemini Esports, unfortunately, with a little bit of a spread here early game, but they are going to get a little bit of payback here. Irek was pulling up aggressively with Muerte in his car. Now he's going to need to do something special to make sure his teammate doesn't get thirsted. He's got 2 Gemini Esports members in this compound. He's going to need help from the long range overwatch from the area we just left here, Blitz. But Irek is a great player, a veteran player I've seen play for a number of different teams. Was on CK for a while. Has been again on several different teams right now. So he's going to need to do something special with this ace. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get Muerte up. Red Eye, I think from a different... actually, that's right in front of him. Red Eye is able to get the thirst.
Irek getting some nice shots on Red Eye. Peeked out there. Muerte did go down. I was wondering if this car audio was on purpose to block the footsteps potentially from Irek, or if that was a panic radio turn on, you know, as the Muerte got knocked out of the car. First nade from Irek going in there. Excuse me. He's got, I think that was his last lethal. No more frags or lethals for the rest of the squad. So now they're going to have to tread lightly here or stack this building if they want to get aggressive, but it's not looking like they're thinking that so far. Red Eye hopped out quick. Heady followed up by a body shot, and then nice shots onto Musty up top. They got the stun. It could be the time to stack the building. I think Shadow's going up there right now. They saw Musty go to the other side, so he knows he's outside the building. At least Shadow cleans it up, and they just lose Muerte for 4 kills, and they get a pretty central compound, exactly center for that push. Seven Kings, big brothers of this game, looking over. So what's going on down here?
Yeah, and TXC is also getting kind of interested. So I would love to see an even further up aerial view of this blitz so we can kind of get a dynamic of what is really going on. The Seven Kings sent Quavo and Tacticals over here to kind of look down. They were able to get a knock, not a thirst. And in the meantime, there you go. Triple OG and Boatman started to push over here, and Triple OG had no idea that the Seven Kings were on the high side as well as to the direct west. So Boatman's gonna need to move over here quick to get this res, and the rest of the Seven Kings are already moving in on this. TXC is a team they would love to get out of the lobby earlier, but Himothy's pulling up to somewhat support. I love this battle that we're seeing. Tacticals is going to try to throw some grenades here, not landing anything quite yet. Now he needs to be careful of that angle from Himothy, who just pulled up on the rest of his team at that compound here. So both teams flexing out a little bit early here, but not ready to full send one another. These are top teams in the North American section. If you're not familiar with the Seven Kings and TXC, you will be by the end of this event. I can guarantee you that. And both teams doing a good job to get back to full strength here and kind of hold their own right now. I love where Himothy pulled up here. It was a very important play to kind of relieve some of the pressure on Boat, who was reviving there. And now, as you see, he's going to head back to the bike. They're going to remove themselves from this equation. Never really wanting to take an early game fight versus the Seven Kings here. It's some great shots from Onyx that are actually pushing Warhawk back. He heard the bike turn around and he wanted those kills, and he almost paid for it, Blitz.
That's how you play as a team right there, Stento. You send your teammate up to get that flank, create a little bit of distraction so the team can't completely push and flush that knock. And then when they go to leave,
anchor back. Yeah.
And then when you go to leave, you support that player. It's so crucial because so many times, you know what to do.
The little things, Blitz.
Yeah, the little things. Instincts, you know what to do as a good player, right? You know, if you're a good player, you need to get up and help stop that push. And then sometimes people are kind of consumed with what they're doing to kind of forget to help you to get out of there. But, you know, good teamwork from that squad. Now we're catching Abnormal, who had a great game one right now, climbing up the leaderboard still. And SI has been making a pretty big impact tonight. We've talked about them many times. They've been skirmishing a lot. I definitely want to check out where they are on the leaderboards. Eno's also here as well.
I believe Shooter's Instinct is like one of those teams that's trying to jump from the right side over to the left. So I think they're hanging out in like 13th or something. They're going to need to be careful here. Kitty has been having a good day today for SI. Takes down Karm. Went for the thirst there and does get it, but paid for it as well, as she is going to get taken out as well here. Both teams losing a player there really quickly. Panda with some impressive work on that first Miramar game we saw win a nice fight versus, I believe it was RR there, was the only one to come out of it. That fight there was Panda. So definitely keeping an eye on Panda here. And Eno, we see them sneaking onto our mini map in the bottom right of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. So keep an eye on that. This Eno squad has won a couple games, but they're really not finding that consistency that you would hope for over the course of a 30-game season. So they still have some time. They're going to want to try to find that sooner than later here, Blitz, because they've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to mention that Shooter Instinct have moved up 4 places into 14th place. But again, I think they only have 2 members left. And as we see, the circle made a huge rotation or shift all the way west, and we have multiple care packages on the top side right now. I think Tragic End might have just picked one up, and he might be going for another one. Actually, there's a FAMAS here. Then we have a separate care package right in the crater fields that definitely should be picked up. If not, they're just about to grab this. This is another FAMAS, and then we're going to leapfrog back closer to the zone. And sorry, guys, we're having some Xbox issues. Apologies. I mean, we're rocking the Series X, but I guess Miramar is just a little too much. We'll be right back. We're going to reset the Xbox. Give me 1 second.
Also just took an airlift and landed in Monte Nuevo in that same area. So TXC look like they're considering this high side mountain over here, Blitz. I don't hate it. It's going to be a great spot to try to potentially move into the east side later if that does end up being where they landed. They went way out though.
Yeah, TXC going super far west. I'm really surprised they went for that Stento, especially because they're going to need a car. And also, I just want to reintroduce that we came back. The stream might not have caught my initial intro, just apologizing for the interruption. We're back in the gameplay again. This is game 4 on Miramar, and we're about to see the circle shift. And drops back to the east side. Stento TXC might have been better just staying put. The reward of taking the lift. And now we're seeing a big skirmish in Power Grid. Eno and Crazy Mob here. They don't need to push, so this could be a little bit of a stalemate, but Verbal almost going down. So much to look out for here, Stento, because we're going to see some teams on the west side have to leave as well, so I don't want to miss out on any crazy rotations.
Yeah, I wanted to quickly request that we look at our map, Blitz. We saw center zone where Vigorous is pulling into. Again, we saw BH versus another squad there, Gemini Esports. And then BH left that compound, and now Vigorous has moved in. We are seeing a fight break out here on the El Pozo side. I see you anxious to get over there, so let's snap into that 187Zs. We said they needed to get it going here, but they've met a very good team in TXC on the edge of the map here. And it's just down to Savage to make something happen in the combination of Boat and Onyx. Get all of those kills, I believe. One going to Triple OG as well, but TXC needed those 4 kills. They need to really get their footing again. We saw them come out with a strong week 1, but they've kind of just been coasting ever since. Again, they really do need a big game here.
Meanwhile, Monte Nuevo just on the edge of zone. Another care package. I'm just seeing one here. We saw a lot before, so I'm curious if the second one's going to be dropping somewhere.
I can see it in blue. I don't know if that was an old one or a new one, but I saw one just disappear in the Monte Nuevo area, and then that one's in blue. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it could be the same. Yeah,
because... no, you can see. So you can see 2 on the screen right now.
Yeah, exactly.
They go away when they.
I think that is a fresh one. I mean, we could tell right now. We go over. Just so curious to see if we see any smoke. This one might be an old one here, but nonetheless, there's a lot of care packages coming down right now.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We're suspicious here. Keep an eye on this 2 package drop theory that I've got going on, but I think we're about to see a fight break out on the north side. It's such interesting terrain, so it's kind of tough to tell when it's going to go down here, Blitz, but SSG up on the high mountain right next to RR on the north side, and that's actually where TXC is going to pull up as well. So this might be a good spot to kind of take a little bit of an aerial view and see how some of these teams are working through one another. But that fight is actually breaking out on the other side of the map in Power Grid too. We were watching it, kind of trying to figure out if it was going to be a little bit of a stalemate, but time has passed, and these teams have found each other at the brick. We're seeing a knock onto Eno Tokyo, and Crazy Mob now kind of swarming the area, maybe looking for just one final member here. We got over late, but Crazy Mob picking up 7 kills and a nice wipe onto Eno there, out in 12th place.
And here's the SSG squad playing this mountain. They're on the second tier. TXC's here.
Trades have gone out, Blitz. 1 knock on each side. I've got such a weird little aerial view here, but we're watching Himothy now trying to smoke Boat, make sure that the long range third parties don't thirst their team, as they just saw happen to the SSG squad there. Soup getting confirmed from long range. Now the rest of SSG have to kind of back off this, as they were working into the high side of the mountain here. So TXC have total height advantage on this squad here, and they're just kind of scouting long range. Onyx is seeing what their next play could potentially be, and the rest of the squad here going to regroup now, and they're going to hear the cars of SSG wrapping around the northeast side. We'll see if they get any good shots on them, but they do have to get back into their cars as well. So it looks like Onyx going to lead the squad back to his whip here, and they're going to try to push into zone here. It's about just under 2 minutes before phase 4 touches up to phase 5.
So curious what they're going to do here. Oh, they do have 2 coupes. I was wondering, like, there's only going to be 2 people in this car. SSG completely rotated around there very successfully. TDT getting super pinched in the middle here, and RR's left to kind of run in from that north side. I guess I'll take an aerial view. We could watch TDT crash this shack. Winner Circle is here, ready to take over this spot.
Winner's Circle, they're just gonna make it rain grenades onto this shack here. And as you saw, there's a P90 in the hand of Jolly, but Cofry is actually the one who puts the nade in the right spot, picking up 2 kills, and BH taking one of those from long range as well. They're looking through the smoke here for the final member. Cofry, it's actually Jolly that takes down Falazide. Out in 11th place is TDT, who been showing up a little bit more today and yesterday, rather than the first couple of weeks here. But they're gonna need to regroup for our final match on the Wrangle here. And quickly snapping into SSG.
They're running into TXC again. Triple OG and Himothy going down to the play zone. 30 mil taking out Onyx. So that's 3 members down for TXC. If my math is correct here. Jalapeno going over to potentially get some flushes. Wheeler steals one for RMV. Jalapeno really wants these points, but this is kind of ticking here. He can't find the body, so he's going to have to first aid and get back in and hope that this didn't play himself, but he should be fine. Not too many angles to get taken out there. And then you see the last member of TXC trying to drive in on this coupe, but it's Boat stuck in this vehicle. Gonna hop out, try to first aid. Pretty tough to get in as we see the circle is about to close here. Again, Tragic End might meet his Tragic End driving in from the top of the zone. Boatman goes down from SSG and the circle shifts again to the south. Really, really tough shifts here. Sento Winter Circle has to be pretty happy about it. We haven't talked too much about Seven Kings. They're on the outside here. And then we have 3 teams that are in our top 8 right now fighting. Crazy Mob, Vigorous, and Abnormal on the north side of the zone. We're tapped in. Noxy going to have to take a first aid break.
There is so many teams over here, Blitz, and Vigorous, one of our top teams on the leaderboard, already has 5 kills, and they're just skirmishing on this side. Maybe we should try to jump into their party and see what's going on.
Yeah, this could be a great time. Give me 1 second. We're gonna hop over to Vigorous chat.
We're gonna have to play the ridges. Actually, we have to play this yellow line. I feel like.
Yeah. Who's the team that was fighting in front of us here south? I didn't even see.
South is ABN. The ones with Crazy Mob.
Yeah.
Good shots, good shots, bro. There's 2 of them. Yeah, there's 2 of them peeking. I got shields, bro. I got 2 shields.
I gotta get
some 5 or 7.
They have to move. They have to move. They have to move in the wide open right now.
Bridges.
Yeah, one of them is moving.
Let's go ridges.
2 of them.
K7 one more. There's only 1 more.
We gotta put pressure on 295.
Yeah, I'm not gonna shoot yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit.
I'm trying to watch our left as much as I can. Looks like they killed one of K7.
These guys are so lit. Look at ping. Look at ping.
No way. I'm running out of ammo.
They're all on him. All in that smoke.
Good heady on left. He's left smoke headied.
We gotta watch that.
Don't waste your automatic ammo thingy.
Yeah.
AR, use your DMR.
I had to reload, so.
Right in front of me?
Go.
Got one?
They pushed me as well. On me, Nox. Somewheres.
We can't see you. You're in a ridge behind us.
Okay.
Boys.
Have to fall back. Come on. He's pushing up with blue here, guys.
Where?
He's on blue
I'm playing
line.
right.
Above me.
He's what?
On blue line above me.
I'm nading. Yeah,
He's
you're
right
left a little
me,
bit.
Right above me, kid. Literally directly in front of me.
I'm on right, too. I'm on right.
Got one?
Close right on me. He's hurt. Headied. Nice, I need somebody to pick me up.
Pick him up.
Can somebody get eyes on the guys across the road?
I can't pick him up, bro.
Just crawl.
Just crawl then, just crawl.
I got it.
Pick me up some 7s. Pick me up some 7s.
I can't. I have to push the ridge. They're pushing us.
Can you watch our back left?
Uh-huh.
I'm just rushing.
Damn it.
You.
Dang it.
Good try though. Good try. We got a lot of kills there, I think.
All right, Stento. So that unfolded quickly. Honestly, what's frustrating there is that Vigorous had a really tough time picking up their teammate, which I think we've all had that happen to us if you play PUBG, and that really cost them some valuable seconds not being able to get that revive off, which is definitely really frustrating for them. But as they mentioned, they were really happy, even though they got taken out there with the game so far and how many kills they were able to get for match 4. And right now we're seeing in the top 4 with WC centered
what's
up.
interesting, Blitz, is that Vigorous kind of just had to deal with too much there. They had ABN close range, and I was watching a couple of the members while you were in their comms there. They were trying to gatekeep RMV, who was running across the street for a second there, And what kind of stinks is that in a different situation, if they can all focus that, they're going to get 4 kills on RMV trying to run across the open there. And they just couldn't give it enough of their attention because ABN was on top of them. And then they deal with ABN and RMV third parties them. So it's just kind of like showing you the timing that can really play a factor for some of those fights, whether it's close range or long range. If they were able to focus RMV really quickly, pick up those kills, and then turn to ABN, you know, that would have been an ideal situation for them, but it would have been very tough for them to do both of that at the same time. Warhawk with some nice long range shots is going to pick himself up a kill as a solo here. They're not gonna be able to get that res onto 30M there. A couple of quick little spam shots there. It was like,
yeah, great shots from Warhawk, and great point there, Stento. I love that you brought that up because the RMV crossing, because that is where they originally looking. We were watching them shoot. They were actually running out of ammo, Stento, so the call was happening. Don't AR fire at RMV, only DMR because we're out of ammo as a squad. And then Grav said, oh, ABN's behind us, and the whole team had to kind of turn around, and they were definitely a little frustrated there because they just, I don't think they were preparing for that. And we missed Dreams getting a nasty heady onto Hots. SSG surviving into the top 4, but it's not looking good for them trying to cross this street right now. 1 member's left. He's going to be able to get in this ditch, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get this res off, and it looks like 2 members of RMV are getting very close. Jumar's got this nade. Brands is even close by, and he gets the barrel shot before the nade even comes down, and now we are in our final 3 teams. We have RMV, Winner Circle, and 1 member left from the 7 Kings, our top team, who again is currently being chased by the Winner Circle. I'm going to hop into, by Vigorous and the Winner Circle. RMV has 4 ups, Stento.
Yeah, we haven't talked about RMV in the NA region very much. I'm curious to see where they lie on the leaderboard. We'll have to take a quick peek at the end of this game. But I know that they are going to need this win here. They've got 4 up versus the 3-man of Winner Circle here, and Wheeler opens things up here, but Kofry evens out the stakes there on Jumar. So RMV need to win this fight here. I know that Warhawk is looking on for the 7 Kings, but RMV need to make this as quick and clean as possible so that they can close out the game and find Warhawk for the win here. It's just Jolly up in the shack and a little bit of spray through the smoke. Oh, there you go. Found him, bumped into him, and finishes him off. But might be a res going down in the shack right now, but I can't exactly tell. Jolly's going to come out with that P90, and this is going to be a big problem for RMV here because Jolly with that P90 is going to really open the door for Warhawk.
Wow, Wheeler also goes down. They never reset Stento, so now they've lost everybody. They could have regrouped and went for the heal. Luckily, Dreams clutches it up there, but honestly, they were 1 kill away from losing the whole squad, and now this allows Warhawk potential to get in. They need to get this revive off as quick as possible. Warhawk's here.
No.
It's the nade and steals the dinner in game 4.
We knew it was going to happen, man. We saw Jolly start to take them down with the P90. RMV needed to make that clean, and they don't. 7 Kings, Warhawk clutches up with 4 kills and the win for them. That is still a big game for RMV with 7 kills and the 2nd place. And Winner Circle rounding out our top 3 in that match with 7 kills.
Stento, just another game where my mouth is just wide open after that round because I don't know. I'm thinking, I'm processing it now after the fact. If RMV thought that everybody was just in that shed because they were just sending it in there. Maybe they didn't think that there was another member left from the 7 Kings, but they probably had to see the kill feed there at some point. But they just sent it without, they could have just played it slow, got that revive and waited for Circle to kind of keep moving. But they just went in there, lost 1 teammate 1 by 1, and then Warhawk to come in. That was insane. Incredible finish.
Yeah, honestly, we kind of just watched it all happen there. RMV cleaned up a couple of nice kills after Vigorous, won some good fights, and they just needed to clean that shack up. You kind of saw how it was going to unfold. We knew it was coming. We knew that was going to turn into a little bit of a mess with Jolly just giving them a problem with the P90. And Warhawk times it perfectly. Comes in with a couple nades, and it's honestly easy for 7 Kings at that point. Is just a couple of knocks and 1 player up, and he places the nade in the right spot. So yeah, GG's for 7 Kings to patiently play that and pick up some more big points. That's very important at the top of the leaderboard here, which is very hotly contested by a couple teams here. But 4th match of the night in the books. We're heading back to Erangel for match 5. We'll be back in just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to drop into our last game of the night back onto Erangel. If you're just tuning in now, this is the NA versus EU Showdown brought to you by Main Gaming. I am one of your co-hosts here, Blitz5. We are hosting this currently on my channel, Blitz5 and Friends, so thank you guys for being here. I am with my co-host and founder of Main Gaming, Mr. Stento, as we look upon our final plane path for the night. A lot of great action. Again, crazy ending to the last game. Can't wait to see what kind of unfolds in chat because very unpredictable there. And then, of course, after the next 5 or 10 minutes, when the leaderboard updates, we'll show you guys all the stats that we have, the rundown before this last game comes to a close. How are you feeling so far, Stento? As we approach the end of the second week of qualifiers, then just one more week after this to go.
Oh, you know how I'm feeling, man. I'm always feeling good when I'm here spectating and casting some PUBG. And as you said, we're back on the beautiful Erangel for match 5, our final match of the evening, which is going to mark the end of week 2, which is also going to mark 2/3 of the way through our regular season. For those of you guys who aren't exactly familiar with what is going on here, this is the $5,000 NA versus EU Showdown, as my good friend Blitz said, brought to you by our amazing team here at Main Gaming. And we are watching the plane unload here, but again, once again, just to give you guys a little bit of a scoop of what is happening with this tournament, we are watching the top 24 teams in North America battle it out over the course of a 30-game regular season, and the top 9 teams from these 24 will move on to battle the top 8 teams from a similar section out of the EU side of this game. So we're working our way towards the finals. We're about 2/3 of the way done with the regular season, and all of these teams fighting for those top spots to make it to that NA versus EU Showdown finals, where the big money, a $4,000 24-match finals, will take place over 2 weekends here. But quickly into the action here in our final match. I saw Panda kind of miss the drop onto that car, but I think they have a little bit of cover fire from the team, perhaps preventing the run over attempt from TDT there, who doesn't want to risk their life in the beginning of the final game here. But we've already seen this once today, Blitz, and we're tuning back into another fight in the mansion area. Blitz, this is a new team. We haven't had a lot of time to spectate them. Eno is in our Astro 840 listening capability squad, so I'd like you to take a little bit of time and scroll down there, and why don't we jump on board with them and hear a little bit of comms from our new team in a hot drop situation.
Il est supposé en avoir un ici, à peu près à droite. Oh, I just see one. Just drop this out. Sont deux, man. Sont deux. Dans ce coin-là. Ouais.
Ah, il vient d'ouvrir la porte, là. Il y en a un one-shot sur orange. Encore un dans le garage.
Essaye de regarder par une autre fenêtre. Je les vois pas. Ils étaient 2 dedans?
Ouais, sont 2 dans...
C'est mon ping. Oh, il pique pas, man. Il a piqué par la deuxième fenêtre.
Bonjour.
Nice nade, nice nade. J'ai pas de visuel.
Moi j'ai pas de smoke.
Dans la maison garage. Au deuxième, moi, pas jaune.
Maybe. Nothing.
I might see you, bro. Sure.
Yeah,
Moving.
true. That's one on blue.
About to
It's kind
die,
of moving
bro.
around that one stack.
Yeah.
I'm watching your stairs.
I got my kill.
Good. 3v3.
Nice.
We need to slow this down so that my shit could rejuvenate. Otherwise, you guys are in a 2v3 right now.
Do you need more boosters?
Nah,
You
just I'm alright.
Okay. I kind of have your cross too.
What has the reaction time of a fucking snail, bro?
Here, just hit it quick.
Where
bro.
is he? Where is he? Where is he?
He has to cross. He has to cross. He has to cross. We use him for bait anyways.
They're pushing me, comes.
Please don't have any nades.
Yo, run.
All right. Excuse me. All right, Stento. Should be back with you now. Excuse me. We took a listen in onto the comms from Eno.
I was watching. You got a little bit of both sides there. How was it?
So one listen to Eno, they weren't really talking too much, Stento, and a few of them I think were speaking another language. It sounded maybe like Spanish, but then one of them didn't sound like Spanish, so I wasn't 100% sure there. But they were honestly being pretty quiet, Stento. They weren't really saying too much. Even when one of their teammates got knocked, they were very, very quiet. So maybe they need to increase a little bit of their comms. P9 had a lot of communication going. They just don't have anything going for them. They had no more heals. They have nothing going. They're trapped. They're trying to leave, and they're getting caught out by Tokyo here. So they're just got to be frustrated because they just didn't get a lot on that drop, Stento. And Phase 9 is one of our teams. It's the last game for them, and they've been moving up the leaderboards. I've been trying to find them quickly. They're in 11th place, so they're still out of the top 8, but they still have next week to play. So, they don't need to lay their hat to rest just yet. We're quickly flipping over to this very popular compound here. RMV's taking it over. I thought I saw a team crashing, but TXC continues on. They don't want to fight that just yet. Look at all these teams rotating, Stento. Absolute madness in the center of the map. Shots. ABN just popping off right now, trying to get a kill on rotation. No regard for any kind of ammo management at all. Nice blood coming in at a distance. Now the mini's going to come out, laying down from Tony. If they were to hit a knock here, that would just be incredible at that distance. Mini 8 times can do it, though.
Yeah, again, we've seen some impressive things out of Tony that I was about expecting a knock there for some reason, but I'm almost glad that it didn't happen.
Would have been filthy. I mean, shout out to the mini. Put some respect on that. Warhawk getting an MG3. Warhawk is down to take any gun here. And we've seen
wielding
them.
A little bit of a M249 earlier.
Yes.
He's taken that.
Yeah,
MG3.
exactly what I was going to say. We saw him with the M249 earlier. Take a look at our circle. A lot of people have already centered up. We have the Bloodhounds in Georgia Pole. They're going to kind of miss out on all the great spots, except for Severny's still open. They're in 12th place, so a team to look out for. They're going to want to end on a good note here. Winner Circle is actually pushing up into heaven, which is kind of confusing here because it's not the right direction.
They knocked Tokyo. They knocked Tokyo, and the other members of Eno were trying to get there, and Winner Circle wasted no time. Pulled immediately up on the ridge. They're starting to nade Tokyo out. And the rest of Eno has no choice but to kind of back off, at least to this garage building here. We've seen some big fights break out in this building. I think they're going to want to just leave Blitz. Winner Circle probably hungry for a nice strong end to their second week of gameplay. We know they're in the top 9, and they're going to want to get a little bit of a security blanket between them and the rest of the teams on the south side of them there. Verbal, I'm not sure he caught Kofry on the side here. Now it looks like he did. We've seen some impressive plays out of Verbal. We've got a clip going around of him, and it's clutching up for his team there. He's there with Lenane for a little bit of a trade onto Kofry, but it's just too many memories of Winner Circle to deal with for them. They're not even going to be able to get a thirst or anything out of that. So a good play by Winner Circle to aggressively push onto Eno there for 3 kills. That's a great start to the final game here. Man, has it been a care package filled day or what, Blitz?
So many good care packages. I mean, sometimes they're going out in the water, and today they're just landing on top of people and their teammates. It's just been all over the place,
man. Let's see what he can do with it. I'm excited to watch the Crazy Mob, who have had a little bit of an up and down final day of week 2 here, but I expect some big points out of them to close it out, and again probably secure them a little bit more comfort in the top 8 to 9 placements. But they do have some teams close by. It looks like Queen Kitty Meow on the high side maybe saw that pack and got a little bit curious. Maybe wants a Groza for herself. She's gonna need to drop Bliv off the bike if she does, and he's gonna be able to get back to Droppa. Head over to Granny's house there for a little bit of maybe cookies and milk before the game gets a little bit too serious.
Absolutely. The scoreboard just updated, and since we have a moment, I think we should run through quickly.
Let's do it
and take a look. Our teams that I want to point out on the scoreboard right now: in first place, 7 Kings, and Vigorous following up just behind 20 points now. So 7 Kings with that steal of a win they had, kind of getting a gap there. Then take a look at, we have the Crazy Mob in 7th. The winner circle fell to 9th place. Faves 9 is in 10th currently, and Torch falling down. They're not playing today, so they're kind of falling down the leaderboards a little bit. Abnormal keeping it in 5th place. Very exciting for them, and a few teams kind of dropping down. On the right side, also just want to show you guys some of the other statistics we have, because this is going to be the final time we get the update. Kill leaders for today is Kidso leading the way for the pack, 2 members of the 7 Kings, and then another Vigorous member, and then AFI Hobie ending the chart there. And then for damage, Kidso again with 7,600 damage, but very close, is second with Hobie, and then Prodigy, Pixel, and Droppa. And then we have our current team MVP. This is going to Kidso. Lost a few points there, but still at 92, which is great for them. And I'm glad we were able to kind of catch this without missing too much action. We did just miss the circle pop to the north side. GE's going to take a wild rotation stint, though. Let's see how it pans out for them. ABN is looking on, and Tragic End's also here to the side. They lost Red Eye, heading right towards this compound.
Yeah, this is a all wheels off the car type of rotation. You can kind of sense that they're just gonna get ripped up by so many teams here. And there you go. That's 3 of 4 members gone in rotation. Just driving through the worst spots here, Blitz, but there's really no no way for them to know how many squads are here. I think we're watching on the map there. If you do zoom out a little bit, it looks like A7 taking a little bit of an airlift to the bunker situation on the right there. But lots of teams are comfortable on this hillside to the east side of Severny, and this is a very interesting zone. I think we've seen it a number of times here as well. It'll kind of just end out in this field to the east of Severny, and to the north of like the warehouse and stuff, south side of this gas station that we're currently spectating. But anything is still currently possible. It's just phase 2. Vigorous in a decent spot here on the north side of zone. It's virtually centered right now, and one of the only bits of hard cover in the area, so they are going to like that spot. They have ABN pretty close on the south side of them, and ABN's actually going to want to be pretty careful as well. We might see a couple teams try to rotate through here again, and if RR does get a little bit curious, they might peek over the top and have some angles onto ABN. So lots of things to keep an eye on here, Blitz, as phase 2. Look at that. Kidso wants some action. He's running out of the compound. This is our kill leader, MVP of the tournament. He must have some good communication from the rest of the squad on what is going on with ABN on the hill. He's just letting the nades fly at all the predictable spots, the trees, the rocks, picking them all out with the grenades. He doesn't connect with anything here, so the rest of the squad gonna ask Kidso to retract, but they might ask him to 180 because Grav just took down Tony, but Psycho does get Kidso before he pulls back into the compound here. So trades going out on both sides here. ABN in a little bit more of a risky position here as they are in the open, exposed to third parties and stuff. So smokes are gonna need to come out, and I think we are seeing RR maybe get a little bit curious on that south side there. So ABN in a very difficult position here as the fight starts to break out between them and Vigorous.
Yeah, so again, this is our 2 second place and 5th place teams fighting it out. Abnormal, risky place for them to be in this early on in the zone center. I mean, I know this little plateau is giving them cover from both angles. We saw them actually play this with a similar zone, so they just might I guess they like this spot, but yeah, to me, very risky there. We'll see how long it lasts. TXC now is trying to make it in on the beach. They're probably going to see Vigorous here and then try to make it to the next compound. They lose Himothy. Let's see how this is going to go. Shots coming in onto Onyx. Trying to get over. He's going to get a little cover there as he gets closer to the water. And we've lost the rest of TXC. They didn't make it. He's the only member heading that way. They've completely split up Stento all over the place.
What's crazy is he pulled into a good compound too over there. That is a really decent spot for this zone. I'm actually noticing Triple OG on his squad is still alive near Severny, but I don't think he has a vehicle or anything. But we are tapping into this fight a little bit late here, but it's a big one between BH and TDT. BH need all of these points. We just saw them on the leaderboard slightly outside of the top 10 qualification points, so these are big points that they just picked up onto TDT. That's going to drop them into 12th for that match. Down to our final 11 teams here, 41 players as we approach the 15-minute mark. And I didn't see how OG got over here. We were just calling him out, but he disrupts ABN's comfort over here a little bit and opens up the door for Vigorous to get a knock onto Tony here.
Yeah, Vigorous, look at this. They're swarming from all different angles. ABN got that knock, but then lost the flush from another team. So really disappointing because now a team member's down. They have a Molly coming. Kidzo and Vigorous are 4 strong here, and it looks like they're out for blood trying to end this fight. The nades are going overboard, though. Kidzo gonna get knocked there, but the trade coming in. Actually, not really. Noxy didn't get that kill. It didn't come down.
This is turning into a mess. It was not a clean enough push. They took a little bit too long to get the angles here, and a third party from Winner's Circle did not help their case. And ABN might be able to get back to 4 strong here with a big hold. Vigorous might be kicking themselves on that failed push because they definitely had a little bit of an opening, but impressive work from Abnormal to stay 4 strong there. Now they're at 5 total kills.
Yeah, I have a conspiracy theory, Stento, that Vigorous has something to do at like 11 o'clock because they kind of did this in the last match last night as well. And they were so good in that spot, and they were so antsy to push there, which isn't really a Vigorous thing to do, right? They play so consistent and kind of methodically. And then to make that kind of crazy push try to happen with the potential for the third party just did not work out. Unfortunate for them, but of course, another great day for Vigorous. And BH now waited for that lift, Stento. Really important to know that phase 4 is the last phase you can do this in. So right as phase it switches to phase 4, so the end of phase 3. So they really waited to the last minute to see if this would work for them. So we'll see how it pays off. Where did they go? Oh, they're at the very end of the very end of the circle here, up and down. I kind of lost them for a little bit.
I was struggling to find them. They
disappeared for a second there.
Yeah, that spectator glitch is pretty funny, but they need to be careful here. They went all the way to the edge, but they're probably going to be spotted by Winner's Circle here.
Yeah, Jolly just spotted out
to sneak
Shadow
in with these parachutes on the edge, and Jolly had a decent round, finishing Winner's Circle in 2nd place. Last game, we saw him with a P90. Now he's got a barrel in his hand, and this Bloodhound squad.
11th place team.
Yeah, we've seen some up and down moments from them. They seem to love to scrap it up, but I feel like it's not very often we're seeing them in the end game. They love to just pick up points at any point in the game right now, and this travel with the emergency airlift to the edge is going to be tough for them to work through Winner's Circle here. As you can see, Kofry opening things up with a knock, Thirst onto Wreck, and now it's just up to Muerte and Shadow here to try to work their way off this edge, which is going to be a very tough task here. The Crazy Mob has joined the conversation, though. They get a knock onto Jolly here, and Bushi's there for a trade onto Problem. So BH here, Shadow, has noticed that this is now a 3-teamed fight. He's calling Muerte over from the north. They're going to try to get involved in a little bit of a pinch scenario here onto Winner's Circle. As you can see, he's going to start with the util, throwing a couple nades. We've seen this location before, Blitz, with the rock and this ridge. It's tough to kind of get some nade kills in this area because the cover really does hold up well in that corner if you're in the right spot here. But however, Muerte has gotten a really nice flank onto Bougie here, puts him down to about 1 health, finally gets that knock there. Shanks there for the trade, Shadow there for a trade of his own onto Kofry. Now it's a little bit of a one-on-one situation, and when is the Crazy Mob gonna get re-involved from the south side there? Shadow cannot find the solo remaining player for Winter Circle, who has pushed way down the hill. It's actually going to prove to be a very good play here as the zone is arriving. This is phase 4, so it starts to sting. As you can see, the HP, 3 HP every chunk here. So not a lot of time in the rock.
He got caught here trying to turn.
He found into all night here. Couldn't really get around it, and now Blue really starting to chunk here, and there is definitely a tire missing on that car as it spins out a little bit. He is going to go down to Shanks, actually picking up the kill on the edge of zone here. Shanks has now alerted the crazy mob of his location, who are pushing over the top blitz on this side. They know exactly who is here, how many members is here, and they want this solo kill for themselves. They've already got 3. Make it 4 as soon as they pick this up. Shanks holding a little bit strong though. Where is the trade blitz? They needed to be a little bit tightly packed here. Shanks is a great player. He might make them pay for this, but Bliv, whew,
just gets him with the last kind of spray of the Groza
crazy
there.
mob playing with fire with Shanks on that ridge there, but
that was a double Groza push, by the way, from the crazy mob, and but that ridge line was just really strong.
Yeah, dangerous stuff, but they do get out of there with the win and 4 strong. Now just take a look. Onyx, the solo, has come out of the north side and realized this was his opportunity to perhaps pick up a couple of points for Team Toxic. He's gonna try and nade, maybe get the thirst there. Slumto has a big flank here, and he's gonna take down the threat. The thirst did come out on the problems though, but the crazy mob back up to 5 kills here and 3 strong still as they prep for end game. They're going to need to come off that east side of the map. As we tick past the 20-minute mark, Blitz still 7 teams alive, 26 players, and we're seeing some knocks come out onto the 187Zs who are holding this shack, and it looks like Warhawk leading the 7 Kings directly into this. He's taking some long range shots. It's actually insane from the shack, who does take him down though, but the Molotov was well placed, and that's going to actually put him weak enough to let Hots from another third-party angle take down Mistake, and you're seeing the kills just kind of stack up for several teams here onto the 187Zs. They're going to go out in 7th place, excuse me.
Yeah, so SSG right now is getting these sight lines, so I wanted to tap in on them. A lot of shots coming from behind on this area. Another care package coming down. We have 6 teams remaining in our last game of the night. Crazy mob coming in from the top. SSG is 4 strong. RR has just been holding this compound. We really haven't talked about them too much. I kind of want to see what's going on over here, if they have any kills, because sometimes when you're center, it's hard to pick it up. They did get some kills on that drive-by now that I remember, so they do have 3.
Yeah, I feel like we need to, come up with a name for this when you're in a center compound that's just so good and so centered, but you can't pick up kills. I agree with you. I feel like we need a term for that or something, but right now that is exactly what RR is going through. They're in such a good center compound. There's so much wide open land around them that just about 100% of the fighting going on in this map is happening on the edge, and they just don't have any access to it. So it's incredibly frustrating sometimes to get a compound like this, because you are in such a good zone. You're going to be end game, but then eventually when you do have to leave this compound, well, what exactly is going to happen? How many kills have all the other teams been able to stack? Is it really worth it being so centered up in a compound where you can't engage in any action? God, we need a term for this, Blitz, but right now it is exactly what RR is going through, and we can see it. The map is heavily populated on all edges, and then there's just that one team in the center in RR, and we're watching now So Strong Gaming wrapping this edge right now. They're eventually going to be met by RMV over there, but this is a pretty serious flank. I think one of the members for SSG might have spotted an RMV member. Yeah, you can see the tracer round starting to come out from Wheeler over there. Run off. ADS is with the 8x gun on the 8x on the SLR and doesn't like the peak versus the rock there in Wheeler. Actually switches to the AR and takes down 30mm right now. So SSG in a very interesting battle versus RMV right now, and it's a losing one as Jumar gets a different angle and knocks Soup, who is already on the res right now. So now Hots has got a big role here, trying to kind of prevent the push as the rest of the team regroups in the smoke. Someone's going to need to step up here because Jumar is on the heavy push. This fight is going to happen now. Blitz and all of the util is out into the smokes. Is any of it going to connect?
From
Yes,
Wheeler there. It does. Run
unbelievable
off.
push.
Trying to run off. Almost gets knocked there. Yeah, SSG went out there and did not get the smokes down quick enough to give them any kind of cover. RB needs to be decisive here so that they can focus up for the next fight. Jumar goes down. Wheeler cleans up, though. I think it's just one member left for SSG after this. It's Runoff who is running off and going to meet the 7 Kings here on the other side. RV needs to regroup quickly. Now could be their time to third party the 7 Kings if they want to aggressive and try to make an impact in the last game of the day. But Warhawk from across the way, Stento, with the MG3 with a 6x scope on it, laying down. This is really the only way you could do that with the 6x from that distance.
Yeah, unbelievable. That gun is an absolute riot to use when you are prone. And we kind of talked about it. He used the LMGs earlier today, but on the north side, ABN has done such a good job of holding strong for deep, but until they met the crazy mob here, Blitz, Slumpto.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy mob, they have so many crate weapons to their name. Droppa wasn't looking the right way, but the team is able to clutch up there, and I want to make sure we're not missing any action on the other side, but that's awesome for crazy mob. They have to be stoked about that there. 9 kills. RMV is kind of swinging back their way, though. They decided not to swing the side of the 7 Kings. They're going to swing the crazy mob side. Will this give them enough time to regroup? I'm not sure here. RMV is going to show up very soon. Going to hop into their perspective, see what Brands is seeing with the mini. Spots drop it down. Team's going to be looking for angles. Throwables are coming out here.
He has so many throwables from RMV. Jumar gets knocked and thirsted right there by, just knocked from Slumpto.
Yeah, nice trade. They're kind of slowed down.
Yeah, really good trade now. And now it's a knock on each side. Actually, Crazy Mob gets theirs up first now. So they might have a slight advantage here. As you mentioned, they've got a number of crate weapons to work with. A Groza and a FAMAS, to name a few. And they're going to want to take this fight quicker rather than later. I think we're seeing a little bit of a standoff between 7 Kings and RR on the other side of the map. So both sides are going to want to have their little squad versus squad fight and then try to third party the other fight as soon as possible. And Crazy Mob doing just that. They're pushing out some good shots from Slumpto. Put Wheeler down weak, but he doesn't get the knock. So this is taking a little bit too much time if you ask me, Blitz. But on the other side of the map, it's a little bit of a stalemate in its own as 7 Kings slowly starting to push the building, but I think we're in the right spot here. Slumpto and the rest of Crazy Mob starting to throw some nades. They aren't connecting, however. They've caught Brands on the edge here using a little bit of rock, and it's a nice 4x M4 spray that's going to take down Brands. And now Wheeler has a little bit of a retraction going on here. They're going to confirm that kill, and they don't exactly know where these RMV members have went. Droppa and Slumpto kind of rotating back away, and I think both teams kind of backing off of this fight for a second.
Yeah, because of that, I'm going to hop into 7 Kings and see how this push is going. Warhawk's going to try to make it into this building. He's got the red dot on now with this fast mode. He can use it as a vector, but he goes down. That's a huge knock to stop the push from Warhawk. He could have single-handedly taken out the team with that weapon, Stento. So them getting Warhawk down there is huge for RR. Can they make another move here? Sheets is out of the building. Gets a good damage on the tacticals. But Linkadox trades on silvers. And then now the drops are coming in. Quavo tearing it up at Wax with the Vector. Luckily, 7 Kings playing strong as a team, able to defend that. But RR holding pretty well against the best team in the league. Kudos to them. It looks like Crazy Mob won that fight. You have to love that both those fights were just happening kind of in their own vacuum there. And now Crazy Mob needs to decide how they're going to play. They don't need to push because they have the zone, but they're going to. This is where mistakes happen, though, Stento. But we do get another knock onto Linkadox there. And the 7 Kings fight back.
We couldn't even, it happened so fast. Crazy Mob was trying to be aggressive there, Blitz, but the cover from the buildings allowed 7 Kings to get both of those reses off. And as you said, they could have sat on that ridge and maybe played it a little bit more patient, but Slumto led the way in there, got a nice knock, but the trades just came out too quick from from Seven Kings, who pick up a nice 13 kill win to add to their first place lead right now. Crazy Mob needed that game, picking up 12 kills and a second place, keeping them in the conversation. And rounding out the top 3 in our final match of the night is the Rico's Roughnecks with just 3 kills.
Yeah, Stento. I mean, the Seven Kings walking away with back-to-back dubs there in situations where the other team kind of got a little hasty at the end. But I totally get it, though. They're a good team. You know, they also have probably some great weapons. Crazy Mob is familiar with them, right? So they know, like, they're kind of, it's a 50-50. So I kind of give them kudos for going for it. But what was big there to me, Stento, was that RMV had the opportunity to take out Crazy Mob and then kind of just drop the ball. I mean, they're making a comeback a little bit. Awesome that they made it in top 4, but they had a sliver of a chance. And that's what happens in this high level of play. If you kind of let that opportunity go by, it's over. And then the Crazy Mob just was able to come back and push them and take them out.
Yeah, that was well put. You really do have to pick and choose the right spots to be aggressive, and it's just got to be everyone on the same page. Those movements have to be quick, or you got to back off and regroup. So we saw a lot of that kind of reflanks and teams backing off after engaging. So that was a very interesting and very entertaining. An unbelievable week 2 of action for the main gaming NA versus EU showdown. I think that just about does it for the week, though. And I just want to, before we sign off, remind everybody that we'll be back here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. So make sure you're marking your calendars, setting your alarms. We have a lot more PUBG coming at you. And after week 3, we'll be heading directly into the weekend playoffs. So things are going to happen quickly here, Blitz. It's been very exciting. We have to just give one last thank you to everyone who's watching this event, staying up with the teams and the different players and everything. So a massive shout out to not only everyone watching, but all the teams and players and everyone helping us out behind the scenes. We can't thank you guys enough for the support.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll kind of take it out here with the scoreboard, but yeah, a major thanks to everybody hanging out here. We really appreciate you guys. Obviously, this won't have that last game, but as Stento said, we'll be here next week for the last week of qualifying, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Same time, same place. If you're in the US, the EU games start at 3 p.m. Eastern, and the NA games start at 8 p.m. Eastern. So you guys can catch all the action. And with that, I guess we will see you guys next week. Thank you, everybody. GG's to all the players out there, and congrats on the victors for today. Have a good night, everybody.